Someone else came out and talked shit too.
Mm.
I think what's her name, Lena Kwan or
Oh,
Lena
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 Khan,
Khan.
Khan?
Lena
Lena
Khan.
She's the
Khan, Lena Khan.
FCC. She's the FCC lady, right?
That's J Dub's homegirl.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
J Dub's homegirl.
bro,
He
she
tried to tell
came out.
y'all. He tried to tell
yeah.
y'all.
They
See,
try to tell
he's
you
Lena Khan's like,
she was
I
pregnant. They
told
told
you.
her to
I'm like,
take your pregnant
bro,
ass on, go back to your country. I mean, they did her wrong, man.
Yo,
Yo, they
All
dog.
did
she
her
was
like,
wrong,
trying to
man.
do, all she was trying to do is save them for what they going through now.
He said,
That's it.
Lena,
She
Lena,
said the
Lena, Lena Khan is like, you chose Lulu over me?
Yeah, I'm not supposed
Where
to have a
Lulu
girlfriend
now?
either.
Where Lulu now? Where Lulu Chang at? She
damn.
ain't here now?
6 houses down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, this
Straight
is
up.
wild. It is wild. But anyway, welcome my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. Welcome to the Friday night edition of 60 Frames No Lag. I pulled the PHEXF. I called all the generals in the war council. I said, hey, I need y'all here
Right.
Friday. I don't care what you're doing. We need the council assembled Friday. Because, the audience demands it. The people demand it. People demand it. They be like, listen, they got to
Gotta give the
know.
people what they want.
They got to know what the podcasters, 60 frames no lag, are saying about this, right? But going through, man, hey, just real quick, man, how is it? We'll go through around the circle. We'll do around the horn. Hey, yo, Chill Will, man, how's your Friday going, man? Happy Friday.
And it is going good. I appreciate y'all for having me. Appreciate you for asking. A lot better than the Xbox, guys.
Okay. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. Facts. Okay. All right. Good to go. But I'm
Man.
glad you're here. Henry,
Appreciate
man,
you for
thank
having me.
you. I appreciate you coming through, Henry. Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We need a little law and order here. So you bring the sense and
Yeah.
sensibility. You're the one that brings the sense and sensibility to among us. So I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah. So, well, let me shout you guys out, especially P-Rock, for inviting me to this group, because this is a social circle that I would never be able to have without this podcast. Because
Really?
like I live in like I live in the I live in San Gabriel Valley, which is like the biggest Chinese community outside of China.
Okay.
It's
Really?
it's in LA. It's in LA. Yeah, it's in LA. It's like
Okay.
the biggest Chinese population outside of China. So I see rich Chinese people, I see poor Chinese people, and I see Latin Americans. So I don't see a whole lot of, unless I go to the West LA, right? So,
Okay.
but even that, my chances of encountering gaming Black Americans are like rare. So, but
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. It's a different perspective, and I appreciate the social circle and this opportunity to bond with you guys.
Oh, look at that.
And
See,
happy
see?
Friday,
and,
motherfuckers.
And, y-
Yeah.
and y'all people thought that me implementing DEI in a podcast was a bad thing. You see? This shit,
Facts,
see? It
facts.
works. It worked.
Facts.
Going woke worked. I was
It
already
is DEI.
broke, so I had nothing to
Me and
lose.
Chill Will, like, yeah, right?
I was already broke,
Hey,
so what I gotta lose?
speaking,
Of course it worked. Look at Ghost of Yote's sales already.
Oh, shit,
speaking
look
of
at
that,
Mhm.
Disney has a rule when you design their artwork.
Yeah.
So every 5 characters, there's got to be a girl. So like when I was building these artwork for when I was designing like a home decor, like a little
Yeah.
those artwork you buy at Target or Walmart where it's in the frame, but they're not really artwork. They're like printed work. When I was designing one for the Avengers, I got to do 4 Avengers, and then one of them has to be either Scarlet Witch or the 5th one has to be Scarlet Witch or Black Widow. FYI. That's the
Wow.
that's the rule. So speaking of that,
That's that
Disney does
DEI.
that kind of rule. Yeah.
That's that DEI, because 5 mils is not enough.
Yeah.
You got to have 6. Oh, man. Okay. And then we got J-Dub. And listen, the
And
topic
you get
serious.
your bukkake, I guess.
Get your bukkake, right? Even J-Dub's not with the bukkake.
Oh man.
It's serious when J-Dub turned his camera on. He's like, listen. He's like, shit's gone
Oh,
bad.
man.
He's like, shit is terrible.
Hey.
It's bad. Life is bad. What's going on,
It's
J-Dub?
bad.
He's like,
It's
this is
bad
bad.
out here.
Like, we couldn't even
Hey.
wait till Tuesday. I don't
Hey,
know
I
what we're going
can-
to talk about
yeah.
Tuesday. We're talking about this now. I'm going to have
I
to
don't know.
make some shit up.
Hey, we might have to just
We'll
we'll do
We'll
something.
figure it out.
You don't know. There might be some more bad Xbox news in between. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
It ain't over. Yeah, the pain ain't
something
over.
new all week.
Microsoft's
It's-
accelerating the pain. Okay.
It's bad out there. It's bad out
Yo,
there, guys.
yo,
I
Mysteries,
don't
yo,
know if
stay
you know,
safe.
but it's super freaking bad out there.
Stay safe out there.
We're gonna talk about it tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's Friday, man. I love Fridays. Best day of the week.
Yep.
All right. That's
Best day of the week. I'm ready to get into these topics, man. We got
all
some bragging to do. Some I told you so. It's crazy how like how 24 hours can change everything.
And
facts.
That's crazy.
Absolute facts. And of course, all right. And then of course we got Ghost. What's going on, sir? How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Happy Friday. Appreciate you having me on. I'm here for the jokes.
Are you coming in a little low? Is he coming in a little low for you guys?
Yeah,
Or is it just me?
A little bit.
nah, he's a little low.
He's,
Well,
you know what it is? He's leaning back with his, with his
cigar,
cohiba. He got his cigar shipped from Cuba. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
the stogies.
You know,
He's probably playing on his portal right now.
right? He's
Ghost
on
of
his
Yokai, so
portal.
he's not paying
You know what I'm
attention
saying? He got his Cubans,
Take all day
got his Cubanos.
and not put it down at all.
You know, he got his 21-year Glenfiddich in the cup. He's enjoying his drink.
But no, I've just been.
He got,
I had to get up from my life for it.
okay. He said he got to get up from the life support.
No,
He's
I'm
like,
jokes
he had to
down,
take off the
like
CPAP
J-Dub
machine.
Oh man.
Like J-Dub said, man, I'm here for the jokes and I told you so. So it really just it is truly amazing. What 24 hours and multiple tweets on
All right.
did a whole generation of gamers.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. Okay. And then, Craig is in here now.
Oh,
Craig Harris. Let's see.
Brother
Well, he's
Craig.
probably. He's probably not ready. And then we also got Extreme. Well, Extreme's not ready because he's not showing the Bukkake yet. So they're setting up. They're getting locked and loaded. They're
Maybe
getting
sharp.
locked and loaded. We're almost at the full Brady podcast, the Brady Bunch podcast. You know,
Oh,
I
hey.
think the brain.
What I
Is
am.
the brain still here? Or is the brain here? I don't see him. It looks like he's in a room, but it looks like he's not in the room. That is weird.
No, I don't see him.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's go. Go, Craig. All right. So Craig is ready. Craig and Emma are ready. Craig, happy Friday, brother.
Hey, happy Friday to you and everybody else on the panel. Shout out to
Friday, brother.
SPR for recommending the podcast. I was in
Yeah.
agreement
Oh, yeah.
with him, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I listened to him, so I pulled the P headset. I be like, hey, I gotta get everybody. I'm calling all the generals. Everybody. I'm surrounding all the generals around the world. I even had to get Australia in here. I'm like, everybody. Everybody's gonna come listen to me so you can hear me say you are all fat. You need to PT. that's because that's clearly what 4-star generals want to hear. You know that they're fat.
Hey, Craig, you look like you're in a submarine. You're like the Hunt of Red October with that.
That's right. Everybody had to come. I don't care if you're deployed in the submarine or Arctics. You're coming. Stop your mission and get over here. Oh man, but appreciate it, Craig, man. Thank you for coming. Then of course we got Extreme. Extreme is muted. There's some comm issues.
This whole time.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. There's some comm
There you
issues,
go.
but I had to get representation from the Pacific in here also. All hands on deck
Okay.
on a Friday. You know.
Well, listen. Hello, Henry. Because I said hello, back when you said it. I just, was muted apparently. But yeah. Okay. Cool. Excellent. Here we are.
Okay. All right.
It's Saturday here, by the way.
It's Saturday. Oh, nice. That's right. It's Saturday. Happy Saturday for you.
him in the future.
Oh, that's right.
You know, what are the numbers
There
to
we
the
go.
lotto?
We got the brain here.
What's-
here.
What's the lotto number?
17, 35,
Okay, 35.
44, 24, 11, 12, and 9.
Shit. Can you put that in the chat? Can you put that sentence? Put in the DMs. Put in the Twitters. just put in the Twitters.
Listen, everybody's winning.
The whole world. The whole. I'm gonna end up winning $2 because 200 million people played the number. Oh. All right, appreciate it. And then we got the brain. The brain is here.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? I tried to come in a little bit earlier, but I had to clean up some kitten shit, so that took longer than what I thought.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah,
Right.
no,
man.
it's
I
all
like the
kitten
way that you
kitten
censored
shit.
the cat part. You were like, cat, no, kitten,
Uh,
shit.
kitten shit. Because he didn't want it. He didn't want to make it bigger than what it was. You know what I'm saying? But it was cat shit, and it was a
Yeah.
lot of cat shit. Probably kitten shit sounds
Nah,
better.
man. Yeah, kitten shit sounds better because it's cuter, but no, they potty training. But I'm just tired of cleaning that shit up. No pun intended.
All right, there you go, my man out there. But believe me, you're not the only one cleaning up shit because Microsoft's out there doing the same. All right,
Nah,
you're not the only
they
one, boy.
crazy.
You're not the only one that's getting shit in the litter. All right, here we go. We're gonna start out with some super chats, and I want to say thank you to everybody. Hey, shout out to the chat and to all the viewers right now. Appreciate it. If you don't mind, please hit the like button for the special Friday night edition, 60 frames no lag. And then let me read off the chat. We're gonna start off with Glassdoor Gamer. He says Xbox all but dead. Now all Phil needs to do is drop that Halo on PS5 announcement. The final nail will have grown men Xbox fans crying. Oh man, this guy's enjoying this
Coming.
moment. Glassdoor
Coming
Gamer's
this month.
really enjoying this. Oh yeah, there's like the Halo thing, right? Something with Halo. They're gonna
Halo
announce it.
tournament. Yep.
Halo
And
tournament.
they said that Virtual
They're gonna announce
Studio is working on something Halo related.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah. So they're gonna
Good.
drop
More
the
of that
bomb there.
later.
Ooh.
Yep.
And Gordo P23, thank you for the $10 super chat. Says everybody thought they will only raise the price to $25 or so, but Phil said bump that. I'm about to go deep. He had them boys clenching the blankets. Ouch. Well, Craig did say get it ready. Ain't nobody want to listen to Craig.
Yeah, that's
Stop
fine.
saying that.
Craig said get it ready.
Fine.
The certified
Yeah,
booty
I
bandit
also-
said get it ready. Nobody wanted to listen. He said get it
He
ready.
had
Yeah, I
the poll
also-
for no reason.
I also said on this podcast that in order for Game Pass to be viable, you were gonna have to pay anywhere from $34 to $39.99 a month. I literally said it
it's
over a
not
year
over.
ago.
So it's not over.
No, it's not
more
over.
prices
Yeah, they're gonna
coming.
go up. They're gonna go up again. Yeah.
There's more. Oh
Yeah.
Have you
man.
guys
So there's more
seen
clenching.
the lineup for next year?
Huh?
For what?
They
Lineup
might
for
have
what?
Gears, Halo. They might have Gears, Halo, Forza, Call of Duty, and Fable next year.
Oh, that
They're
sounds like
definitely
$35.
raising price again.
That sounds like $35.
Yeah.
That
Thank you.
does sound like
Thank you.
$35.
Yep.
Sounds like 30. Sounds like 39 to me.
Oh
With
shit!
$80 games.
Get it ready.
Yeah.
Get it ready.
Get it
Okay.
ready. I
All
said
right.
that before. Their job, they can complain all they want to. If they don't want to participate, then leave the cell. If you want to participate, you better start getting it ready because nobody cares what you can or cannot afford. That's what I'm starting to. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead. My bad. I don't want to get on the soapbox. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So we'll kick it off. Let me kick it off with this right here. So just in case, for the audience, for the sake of audience, I want to make sure I level set the audience, and get everybody, in sync. If you haven't heard, and I don't know how you haven't heard, but just in case, Microsoft changed the structure of Game Pass and raised the price. Okay, so now Microsoft did a 50% increase of Game Pass Ultimate to $30 a month. If you look here, with this right here, they now have 3 tiers, almost similar to what PlayStation does. They have an Essential, which is 50 plus games, that's playable on PC, console, and cloud for $9.99 a month. You got unlimited cloud gaming, in-game benefits, including Riot games, online console multiplayer, and then, earn some rewards. Then they have the premium games, which is what they call it now. And now you have access to over 200 games on the library, all right? Playable on PC, console, and cloud. That is $14.99. New Xbox Plus games within a year of launch. So no day and date for this version. Unlimited cloud gaming with shorter wait times, in-game benefits, including Riot games, online multiplayer. All right, and then earn some rewards. Earn up to $50 a year in rewards. And then finally, you got the Ultimate, right? Which is now you are able to access the full library of Game Pass games, 400 plus games, playable on PC, console, and cloud, for $30 a month, right? And then there's saying up to 75 plus day one games a year, including all Xbox published games day one. And you also have access to other services like UB Plus Classics, EA and Play included, with Fortnite Crew coming in November. Fortnite Crew, I guess, is some type of service, like $11 a month service where you get Battle Pass and stuff like that or whatever. Unlimited cloud gaming at our best quality with the shortest wait time. And best quality meaning 1440p. The other two are 1080p. All right. Online console included, and then apparently up to 100 years, $100 a year in store with rewards and stuff like that. All right. So that is what happened, right? That apparently caused a conniption, a little bit of problem, because now. So let's talk about this. Why did this become a big deal? All right, we're gonna talk about this before we could explain the conniption. Why is this a big deal? Right? Because I think we all know subscription plans naturally will go up in price. Almost every subscription plan
Yep.
in the industry goes up in price. But why is this really,
Mhm.
really a big shocker? I had a conversation earlier with a friend and told me about the 30. And he wasn't with Game Pass, but he didn't understand, like, why is it a big deal? Like, why is everybody upset, mad? Because Disney Plus did it, Netflix did it. You know, he's like, they all doing it. And he didn't even see the backlash. He saw a backlash, but not to this magnitude where people are all pissed off, whatever. So I think, I said, you know what? You made a good point. I think I'm going to mention that on the podcast. The big issue with this one is Game Pass is the only subscription service where people made it into an identity. To this day, or before the price hike, people always kept mentioning Game Pass. The best value in gaming, blah, 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 blah. This is it, whatever, whatever. Game Pass became the platform from Xbox. You didn't see that type of conversation or narrative or vitriol with the other subscription service. When Disney Plus first launched, everybody said, "Oh, you get access to the Disney catalog and this Star Wars, Marvel. Oh, it's cool for a low price." For the first couple of months, maybe up to the year. After that, no one gave a shit. After that, it's like whatever. You didn't hear 5 years later Disney Plus is the best value in subscription services. No one cared. Like no one really cared anymore. At that point, it was just a conversation of whether Disney Plus was worth it or not. But nobody really. You didn't have Disney Plus fanboys trying to sell the service to people over and over and over for 5, 6, 7 years. They didn't keep reminding you, "Oh my God, it's the best service. It's the best value over and over and over." Right? Okay. HBO Max didn't do that. Netflix didn't do that. Spotify didn't do that. At a certain point, people recognized it when it first came out, but then after that, it just got normalized and people just moved on. Game Pass was consistently bragged about for being the best value in gaming, because the truth is, for the Xbox fanboys and the hardcore, that was really the only redeeming thing Xbox has done. They treated that console like shit. The console's shit. Let's call it. It did not do anything. People are bringing up some of the old promises. Xbox Series S having better frame rates than the PS5. The most powerful console. 12 T-flops of power. All this other stuff that was under-delivered, right? The only thing Microsoft had going for themselves was Game Pass. That's it. That was it. That was the big thing. Lots of games, at a cheap price, that people can afford, right? You get the most value, and it was all good. And people accepted all the, how would you say, all the wrong things. No matter what Microsoft did, whether they released Redfall, releasing games at 30 frames, with no 64 performance options, not releasing Game of the Year level quality games, canceling games, or some of the biggest, tentpole titles coming out average at best, like Halo Infinite and stuff like that, or Gears of War, right? Or shutting down tentpole franchises. Forza Motorsport is gone. They're not making that no more, right? Or even new projects that they advertise as a great success, but then they get rid of the studio, like Hi-Fi Rush. So all these things happening over and over, the community accepted it because they always had one thing: Game Pass. You get all these AAA titles for only $20 a month, $19 a month at a low, low price. Well, now Microsoft hit a price point where now that value doesn't seem worth it anymore, right? Let me show one of the biggest advocates of Game Pass, which is Paris Lilly, right? One of the biggest advocates of that, all right? And this is a little snippet of what he said. Shout out to Nick for showing this, to bringing this to light. Let me raise the volume here a little bit, and let's see. This is Paris.
Talking with a couple of people just a few weeks ago, going they're going to raise the price on Game Pass. We knew that was going to happen. I was thinking $2, $3, maybe $5 a month, but to see Ultimate jump $10 a month to 30, it is. You just said it. I don't think we can say this is the best value in gaming anymore, despite them adding in Ubisoft Plus Classics, the Fortnite stuff. Not everyone wants to take advantage of that. The whole point of Game Pass has always been day one. Their first party lineup, you're getting it day one in the service. And sure, you're going to pay somewhat of a premium for that, but this takes it to a point where now I actually have to think, is this worth it to me? Am I playing enough games from Xbox Game Studios and some of the third-party indie stuff in here? Am I playing enough of these games every month that it is worth it to me to spend $30 a month? Jokingly talking.
And that right there is a snippet, but I think he hit the heart of the nail, right? Microsoft hit a price point where now people are like, wait a minute. Because if you look at $30 a year, right? $30 a year, right? You take $30 a year. I mean, $30 a month. I'm sorry, $30 a month.
Yeah.
And you multiply it by 12. You're talking $360, and then you divide that by $70. You're talking out 5 games a year, right? I would say the biggest audience that enjoy Game Pass the most was the ones that don't buy 5 games a year. They don't spend $360 a year. So the first thing I want to bring up, and then I want to pass it around the horn. I'll start out with you, Will, and we'll go around the horn. Is Game Pass and Ultimate is now at the equivalent of buying 5 games a year to an audience that don't buy 5 games a year, and that was the biggest draw. Now, some people are going to say, well, for buying 5 games a year, you actually get to play 12, 15, 20, whatever. But I don't think that really matters. What matters to a lot of people was that they didn't spend $360 a year to play lots of games, right? So it doesn't matter how many games they do get. It's now the fact that they're spending $360 a year, which is not what they do. In fact, on average, I think data shows on average, most people only play about 2 to 3 games a year. Another data shows the people who spend 400 plus games or 400 plus dollars in revenue is not just because of games, it's because of other stuff like, controllers and peripherals and stuff like that. So there isn't a huge audience that really spends 360 plus on just gaming, and that's where the challenge is. So let's start with your Will on your thoughts of Microsoft $30 and what you think is why so many Xbox gamers, and I'll show some more examples, even some of the hardcore, why are they now seeing that this is not a value, even though technically speaking, Mike, like you said, next year, right, you're going to have potentially a lot of games. Halo, Gears, another Forza, another Call of Duty, right? That's 4 games already, right? Never mind whatever third party they bring to the table, stuff like that. But they're still saying, wait a minute, now they're looking at Game Pass as different, right? Because technically it's still the same concept for a low cost, which technically $30 is still a low cost for a lot of games, but this is a different price point, all right? So we'll set up with Joe Will.
Man, when we said we wanted a 360 era back, I didn't mean $360, motherfucker.
Oh.
God damn.
Oh my God. Here we go. Oh man.
But yeah, real quick, just to recap the console war winning year that fucking Microsoft and Xbox have had. First, they started the year off with 15,000 layoffs. Now, sure, most of it was Microsoft employees, but you said it earlier. They gutted studios like Turn 10, Halo, and so many others. They had 2 price hikes. Now, I know Nintendo Switch had a price hike, and I know PlayStation had a price hike, but Xbox had 2 in the span of 4 months. And then in between those 4 months, they even tried to charge $80 for the Outer Worlds 2. Now, pre-orders were shit. They walked it back. But I guarantee that they're probably going to try to charge $80 next year when they release Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable, and the World War II Call of Duty. Now, when it comes to Game Pass, I had Game Pass. I said had. I canceled that shit. I didn't see a value in it no more. I've been playing my PS5 Pro since it launched last November. I don't see a value in it. So at first, everyone saw the value of Game Pass. Like for me, my instance was my first 3 months were $1 each. I was paying $3 for 3 months. I played so many 360 games from when I missed out back when I could only afford a PS3 back in the day. And then after that promotion was done, the standard price was $15. Now, this is where this shit becomes bullshit because in the last 3 calendar years, they've had 3 price hikes. So for me, it went from $15 in 2023 to $17. And then in 2024, it went from $17 to $20. But what makes this one so egregious for the 3rd straight year, in the year of our Lord, 2025, they decided to jump Game Pass Ultimate from 20 to 30. That's a 50% increase in the US. And that's just the US. South Africa got hit with a 75% increase, and then Brazil got hit with a 100 price increase. And what's really fucked up about this, these sneaky, shady motherfuckers decided to do this price hike a week after their pre-orders went live for their handheld, 2 weeks before it's released, and a month before Call of Duty goes live. That's some shady ass shit, dude. I just found to the point it's not worth it for me because I pay for PlayStation Plus Premium for $160 and then $360 a year. Bro, I'm not paying $500+ for gaming subscriptions. I will get my value by paying $160 a year, one-time payment, not monthly, for PlayStation Plus, and the extra $200 that I would have been paying for Game Pass, I can just buy a handful of games from them. So, like, for an example, the last Xbox game I bought was Gears of War Reloaded, and that was $40. That game came out in August. It's September, and now we're in October. So if you're on Game Pass and you're only through Game Pass, you've already paid more, $60, than the one-time purchase that I've had for $40. I just don't see the value in it no more. And on top of all that, The Verge reported today that there's more bullshit with Xbox coming with free cloud gaming, but with 2-minute ads before you get 5 hours a month of cloud gaming, and you can only use 1 a day. Bitch, shut the fuck up with that bullshit. And then people are really out here defending it too. Like Eurogamer posted an article earlier. If Game Pass dies, then we'll have lost one of gaming's best tools for discovery. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Don't defend this because Steam, GOG, and Amazon Games give away games for free every fucking month. And you want me to feel sorry for a $1 trillion company? Fuck out of here. Especially after last week when Sarah Bond was like, oh, it made $5 billion last year. Sure it did. That's why you're raising it $10. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Ouch. All right, so let me do some super chats and move it over. I'll start with J-Dub real quick. But with the super chats, we got Brandon Holiday Style. Thank you for rocking out. Says there's only one thing that can save Xbox now. He said that Tyson chicken plug. Free bag of chicken a month.
Man.
He said free bag of chicken a month with your GP sub. Make it happen, son. I ain't gonna lie. If Game Pass came with a free bag of Tyson chicken, I'll subscribe. You know what I'm saying? That Tyson chicken plug. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Yeah, I will sign up too. Stop lying. You will sign up too. You know what I'm saying?
That GMO chicken? Talking about that fake chicken.
Yeah, I'm saying, hey man, that Tyson chicken nuggets, them shits hit. Them shits slap. What's up, my brother?
They just not that nutritious.
Hey, listen, I'm in America.
Oh, yeah.
You think this is America? Nutrition? You really think we about that life? Come on now. You know what I'm saying? We're all about the quantity, not quality. Times is hard. The economy's tough. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts because I'm in the drive-thru right now getting some.
Look at him! Look at him! Look at him! He lying. Look at him! Oh, snap! All right, Glassdoor Gamer. Thank you for the super chat. Says Xbox gave them COD, lost 300 million. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that real quick. 300 million, and these cheap Xbox now are pissed at Microsoft for not wanting to lose money anymore. And Glassdoor Gamer again, thank you for super chat. Says my homie canceled Game Pass and he realized he has no games to play because he rented. In a way, it's easy for him to move on to another platform. Yeah, that's true. You know. So yo, J-Dub, real quick, man, you in here? We're saying right. We've been talking to these bots for a long time. You know, the little system. You know, they were so happy on freeloading, but they don't realize. You know, it was death by 1,000 cuts. They didn't realize what they were doing to their own brand. They didn't realize, and they thought that PlayStation Nation could save them by selling games to us. I'm like, listen, buddy, we can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? You know, our primary mission is PlayStation. You guys, There's only so much we can do. We you know, you got to put in the work
Yeah.
and demand better from your own brand. But but here to collect some flowers, let them know, J Dub, what you thought about this whole thing. Was this an eventuality, like a long time coming?
It was. We've been saying this, right? All the analysts, majority of analysts that weren't paid by Microsoft were telling you, how is this sustainable? How are they making money? Microsoft's not reporting the stuff that you need to report, right? They'll talk about, oh, we made X amount of dollars in revenue. Okay, well, that's one thing. How much money did it cost to make those games? How much money did you project to lose by putting it in Game Pass? Clearly, Call of Duty and pretty much all Xbox games sell majority on PlayStation now that the games are coming to PlayStation. Um, but this time, I'm actually going to defend the Xbox guys, and I'm going to tell you only for one thing. Sarah Buns, and the rest of those, and Phil Spencer and the rest of those guys, they have been lying to the gamers. They have been lying. They have been misleading them about whether it was profitable. Clearly, it's not sustainable if they have to keep jacking up prices. And clearly, the data came out today showing that they lost $300 million on Call of Duty. How can you lose $300 million and pay back the $100 billion for the ABK deal and the ZeniMax? The mothership is going to want their money back. It's just not sustainable. It's not. Um, I think so. There was a lot of misleading. So many Xbox fans went on record screaming, "It is sustainable," and "Aha, you stupid ponies! You pay $70, we get it for $15 a month, $20 a month." And it's like we saw the writing on the wall. Like we used common sense, but they had Phil, they had Sarah, and they had everybody else from Microsoft telling them that it's doing so well and this and that without actually telling us how many subs they actually have. They didn't tell us how much has it increased. They hadn't told us pretty much the tangible number that we need to know. And you can talk about revenue all day, but show the profits. You got $100 billion you have to pay back. You don't pay back $100 billion by being in the negative. You know, so clearly it's not sustainable. Clearly, jacking up the price was another avenue for them doing that. Jacking up the price of the consoles was another avenue, which people are just not going to buy. They were, I think they're hedging their bets that PlayStation gamers will buy their games continuously. That'll help. PC gamers buy their games. Nintendo will buy the games. They're hoping that will fix that gap, but I don't think it. You could charge $50 a month for Game Pass. I just don't think you're going to bridge that gap. There's just not enough people there. The last numbers that Microsoft told us was what, 30 million, 33 million, something like that. Clearly, if they gain more, Microsoft would tell you. Microsoft always tell you the good numbers. When things are going good, they'll tell you, they'll show those numbers. Right. But when things going bad, they use roundabout stuff. Oh, we had so many players, so many engagements, so many X, Y, and Z. They use some, to try to spin the numbers. So this is an eye opener. And I'll be honest, I heard some rumors today. We're going to talk about it. Not even rumors, just almost some confirmation about some things. Xbox is doing some things, and maybe we can talk about them later. They got my brother Tim Dog out of there, man. He was about to
Yeah,
drop
what
the,
happened? Did
the
he did it to himself though? Because you could shut your account down temporarily. I
no.
think he's
You
just
think
pissed
they took
off.
him down? Nah, I talked to him. Nah, it's
Yeah.
not. He's yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
All right.
he was just saying what's coming for Xbox. He was saying what big changes is going to come now, and I think they, all, the bots, they blamed him. Oh, when you came back to Xbox, you're the
The Tim
reason you
Dog
got the crap
curse.
gamer
The Tim
curse.
Dog curse. The Tim Dog curse.
Yeah,
Yo, it's a funny joke, but
Wow.
it's true. They always
it's kind
blame
of true.
everyone but the actual cause of the problem, which is the company.
Yep.
Like this is all
Yep.
down. They caused this problem. Let me add this, and we'll move on to Craig real quick. But here's the screenshot of the whole Call of Duty conversation. This over here is showing that It says this is from Charlie Intel, big Call of Duty account. That's a fan of Call of Duty and all that stuff. Says breaking. Xbox lost over 300 million in Call of Duty sales in 2024 by putting Black Ops 6 on Xbox Game Pass, Bloomberg reports. Call of Duty lost sales in one of the key reasons why Game Pass price has increased. $300 million in
So
losses.
real quick, so the last Call of Duty did cost 700 million to make.
Oh,
No.
wow.
That was a report last year.
Yeah.
I mentioned it a while ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
So $300 million, right? And supposedly the biggest launch of Xbox. So this is why like player count when it involves subscription service doesn't mean anything. It's a stupid metric. Like MAUs is a dumb metric unless you can convert MAUs to dollars. You can have 100 million people playing a game, but if no one is spending money on it, then what are you doing? Like the metric has to match the dollar, right? You can have a lot of people on your thing, but if they're not spending the appropriate amount of money or the right money that measures success is profit for these companies. Gaming is a product, right? Whether it's a free to play or a paid game, it's a product, and product has to produce profit, whether it's through money transaction or whatchamacallit, actual sales. But Call of Duty losing 300 million means that Game Pass hasn't produced a money transaction needed to counter the $70 price tag. It's not even close, right? Because it's true. On Game Pass, just because you have access to Call of Duty on Game Pass doesn't mean you're not going to start spending on cosmetics. If anything, I would say this is what I always thought, because I know that was probably a big point, and then I'll move over to Craig with this. But I always thought, how is Microsoft thinking they can attract lots of money transactions from Game Pass users when chances are Game Pass users are the most money averse spending users? Because that's the whole point. They're on Game Pass is to not spend money. So what made them think if we give these games on Game Pass, they're going to reciprocate by spending lots of money in the money transactions? You're talking to an audience that the reason why they're on Game Pass is because they don't want to spend a lot of money. They just want to try games without the extra spending in money. So if they do play a game, they're not going to spend more money because that's literally the point of Game Pass, is for them to not spend more money. And let me do some super chats and I'm going to hand it over to Craig. We got Craig here. It says, we got Win Games with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Says, I think Microsoft is holding the line on Ultimate's price to win users away from it so they don't have to admit day and date was a bad decision, and instead say customers' demand has shifted so they can kill off Ultimate. That's a possibility, right? But yeah, I think there's a sense from the community they're trying to do like this hard push of, we're canceling, we're going to make Microsoft. No, they're not backing down. This $30 is staying because they made deals with Fortnite and they deal with UB Plus, and then of course they're not making the profit they're making. They need to raise the price. So this is not backing down. But that's an interesting view because of like if Game Pass, if certain amount of people stop subscribing to Game Pass Ultimate and they just settle for the premium, Microsoft would just get rid of Game Pass Ultimate and just keep premium and say, hey, no more day and date, which I think Extreme, and we'll get Extreme after Craig to touch on that, because I think one of his talking points was they need to get rid of day and date. That's what's actually hurting them. All right. We got Heath, the Heathen Stevens. The Heathen says, watch Microsoft drop day and date from Game Pass. That could be a reality. That could be a reality. That could be the huge crush they're going to get rid of. Right. Or they just keep raising the prices. Get it ready. $35, $40, $45. Get it ready. You know what I'm saying? Diddy's about to serve 4 years in prison, so there's a lot of lube for the rest of us. He ain't hogging all the lube. There's a lot of Diddy oil now on the streets. He's back in prison. There's plenty of Diddy oil. There's plenty of Diddy.
Oh man.
There's plenty of Diddy oil. All right. Yep. He can't buy up the lube now. And then we got Nas, aka Kig, with the $20 super chat. Thank you, Nas. Nas says, yeah, Game Pass looks like it's about to get worse. Seems they want to go full cloud service and not make another console soon, because if you look at the new Game Pass tiers, they now have wait priority times for cloud services. Yeah. They're putting a clutch
hey.
on that. On wait priority times and limits on resolution as well. So interesting. A lot of things is changing rapidly. So I'm gonna hand this over to Craig because he looks like he's about to bust. He can't wait.
I mean, not the type of guy to say I told you so, but I told you so. And big shout out to King Thrash because he's been really going on this, and it's just the writing has been on the wall. Phil Spencer has told people what they're doing, and there's nobody listens. These guys come out here, they spin it, and people want to believe the spin instead of just listening to what Microsoft said. Like, do y'all not listen to what they say to you all? The console went up to $800. They are telling you all that go get a PC. We want you on Windows because the Game Pass PC prices. I have Game Pass on PC. Mine did not go up. They didn't go up. So, and I pay month to month. So yeah, this
November 1st.
Oh, is it November 1st is going up? Okay. So, yeah, but yeah, I think that's what they emailed me about today. I have not read my email yet because I got home and got right on. But I just don't understand what people don't understand about this, which is that I believe they wanted to start the subscription service so that people would go ahead and start buying games, but that's not what they did. They in essence said, well, we're just not going to buy anything. And then they think it's a flex. And then this happens and they get upset. It's like, okay, well, you all have to offset the people that are not in your service. Well, I think Microsoft said what? They wanted 42 to 44 million, and they're at maybe 31 to 33 million. So that's a lot of chicken wings they ain't got there. So somebody's got to, like Fleece Johnson said, somebody's got to come up to give up the booty. And it's you guys are going to be paying $30 a month. So, that's just what you're going to have to do. And if you want to participate in what Microsoft is offering, if you don't, then just say I'm getting rid of the service. So, and that's what people seem to be doing and I think what people are saying is that Microsoft has finally hit a price point where people are saying, no, we're not going to do it. And you had people saying yesterday, we'll bitch enough and they'll back down. But like you all were just saying, they struck a deal with Fortnite and Ubi and all that stuff. They're not going to back it down. You need to go ahead and get a PC. That's what you need to do. It's $800 for an Xbox plus $30. Is it $30 a month or it's $35, whatever it is? You should just go ahead and get a PC. It's what they're saying. Actually, you can get one, build it for right now about $1,000. So you might as well go ahead and I mean, for one, that gives you what Xbox gives you. So, or you can wait for the new Xbox, the new thing that's coming out, and you better start getting it ready because that's going to be expensive as well. The handheld's $1,000. How much is the PC open source PC going to be? So and things are not going to go down. This has already been talked about. Things are going to just keep going up and up and up. So either you participate or you don't. And I understand when people are saying, well, I can't afford it. It's not Microsoft's fault that you can't afford their stuff. It's your fault that you can't afford their stuff. And I've seen people say things like, well, they're $1 trillion company, so they should be willing to take the hit. But the reason why they're $1 trillion company is because they don't take the hit. That's why they're $1 trillion company. So, and to me, it's just common sense. And it's really sad that this had to happen the way it happened to them. They woke up and boom, here it is, and then you got people defending it, and it's like, well, it's still cheaper than $70. Well, okay, but it's just crazy at this point. So unless Game Pass is $70 a month, they think it's going to be better. And is it the best deal in gaming? That's subjective. Sony has more games in their service. They already have Ubi. They have you can rent movies in their premium service. People keep forgetting that you can not rent them. You can actually go and download these movies and watch these movies, or just stream them from the box. So I don't know. To me, being able to get movies is better. It would tip it towards PlayStation, but that's just my opinion. And people will say, "Well, I didn't buy my Xbox to watch movies." That's fair too. That's fair. But so yeah, I feel bad in a way, but they aren't there. You can do listen to Phil Spencer, Amy the Hood, and Sarah Bond, or you can listen to Dealer Gaming, Colt Eastwood, or Paris. I mean, to me, I would listen to the executives instead of those guys, but that's not what they did. They listened to those guys, so it is what it is.
All right. Quick. I'm about to show something on the screen, and then I'm gonna move it over to Extreme. Let me read the super chat. Yo, get up in here. Okay, I'm gonna read this. Yeah, there we go. Let me read a super chat from Glassdoor Gamer. Glassdoor Gamer says, if they drop day and date, they should close up. Before I move it on to Extreme, Brap got some info. Says, according to Sakana's Q3 2025 Future of Video Games Custom Survey, the top reasons cited by those in the U.S. who have unsubscribed from Game Pass were, and this is credit from Matt Piscatella, says 58% says couldn't justify the cost of the subscription within my budget, but like the service. Price was too high. 40% said price was too high for what was available. 32% says would rather put the cost of subscription towards games I would rather own. 23% says I like the games on the service but didn't have enough time to play. And 20% says I no longer needed the ability to play games online. Okay, so reason why I've read this before, putting Extreme on the batter's box is because he mentioned a lot of these points. Extreme, we talked on the podcast a lot of times, and you mentioned if you were CEO, one of the first things you would do is you would get rid of games day and date, and you mentioned that the cost and actual enjoyment of the service is just not possible because a lot of people aren't really playing the games to justify consistent payment down by down. That most users would probably just rather, if you're gonna get a new game, people would rather just spend the money and buy the game that they want versus new games come out, but you're paying a high price, right? Now, you did mention older catalogs is different because sometimes it's a little bit harder to gain access to, or it's a little bit more of a pain to find and stuff like that. So having a service that has a huge catalog of curated, titles from the past, or like legacy titles or titles that's been around that for 2-3 years, that makes sense, right? Because if you didn't buy it the day it came out, then you probably weren't really interested in buying it, but you might try it in a rental service. So that mindset is different as compared to dedicating to every new game that comes out, yet you might not like every new game that does come out, but you're still paying for it. All right. Hey, so Mike's over to you, brother.
Yo, listen, just on that point, the thing is that these subscription services are really, they don't make a lot of sense, And here's what I mean by this. Game Pass has had a phenomenal year this year, okay? Nobody could fault the output of Game Pass this year. It has been the best it's ever been, according to me. Like, just when you think about Clear Obscure, Doom the Dark Ages,
he said,
Hollow
according
Knight
to me.
Silksong. No, it's my
He just
opinion,
put it out there,
know?
according to me.
I
like that. I like that
on
reference.
Top of that, on top of that, it
Who's your
already
source?
has,
Me.
things. It already has things like Forza Horizon is still in there. All of the things from the past. So it just has an amazing value proposition that it offered this year specifically. That's great. The problem is it then becomes this weird thing where it's like the better the service is, and by better I mean that the more a particular title hits with you specifically as a customer, the less sense it makes for you to have Game Pass. What I mean by that is Hollow Knight Silksong is a game that can take you easily 60 to 100 hours to complete if you want to see 100% all the way through and you're not like a god at platformers, right? It's a $20 game that could take you 100 hours to complete. And most of us will be lucky if we get 20 hours of gaming, every single week. So really, most of us is like between 10 and 20, let's say 15 on average. That means that you're going to spend about, 7 to 8 weeks, 2 months worth of Game Pass just to play one game. And that is the weird dichotomy that you have because we have this long form interactive, and active medium, which means that these subscription services can never give you the value of like 400 different titles because you could only ever really experience like 2 or 3 of them within a single month. But that's again for things that you're trialing. The funny thing is that Game Pass works best for you as a customer when you are trying games that you are pretty much sure you are not going to like. And what I mean by that is, let's say that you heard about Dead Cells, and let's say for the sake of argument that Dead Cells is on Game Pass. Maybe you don't play a game like Dead Cells, maybe you're not sure if you jive with the art style, maybe you just like, hey, I haven't played platformers since Mario 64. Let me try this game out and see if it hits with me. Oh, you try it for 30 minutes, you hate it? Oh, great, fantastic. That's a great game that you now know is not for you, and you didn't have to pay for it. And then you can go through the list. You can play Celeste, you can play Hollow Knight, you can play all of these indie darlings that you were never that interested in, and then you find out that you saved a lot of money because you tried 15 of them in an afternoon and you hated all of them. That's where the service really shines for you because now it's like, okay, great. I can just focus on what I know. Like it would be like if Game Pass, if Porto had Game Pass, and it's like, you know what, guys, fine. I'll try all these racing games. And so he puts Need for Speed, hate it. Puts Gran Turismo, hates it. Puts Forza, hates it. Puts the other Forza, hates it even more.
Mhm.
Puts all of these midnight clubs, hates it. It's just like, yep, I hate all of these things, and therefore I have saved so much money by not buying them at the very least. That's where it makes a lot of sense because you're just cycling in and out of these games very quickly. But then when you stumble upon a game that you love, let's say that there was a Final Fantasy like Rebirth on Game Pass, and you're like, oh my god, I love this game. Now you're spending 200 hours in that game. Oh yeah, when you do the math, it's better for you to just buy it outright. That's the problem. That's the thing that you will never understand. And that's the reason why I say day and date doesn't make sense. Because if it's a game that you value being day and date, that means it's a game you want to spend time in. Which means that for all of the time that you're spending there, that is time that you're not spending playing the other 390 games or whatever you could be playing. So that's why it's stupid for day and date for the company to pay all of that upfront money or lose all of that upfront money if it's their own title for a game that you were going to buy and play. And it's stupid for you as a customer to be spending, renewed prices month after month after month, now at $30 a pop, just so that you can play the game that was going to take you 2 or 3 months to complete anyway. You may as well own it and not have to pay the ongoing subscription fee. And this is doubly true for live service games, where people go from spending tens of hours to sometimes hundreds or thousands of hours. There's people that spend thousands of hours in Call of Duty every year, So what is that for? People talk about, for example, the Fortnite subscription thing. Again, let's say that you are so hardcore into Fortnite that you have the Fortnite Crew Battle Pass subscription
Mhm.
thing for Fortnite anyway. That's $12 a month. Okay, you're a hardcore Fortnite guy. So now you're going to pay $30 a month for that same benefit just so that you can have 400 other games that you're not going to play because you're playing Fortnite. But at the same time, you're playing Fortnite and you're playing Call of Duty and you're playing the 300 other games. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Who is this guy for? And I realized that the only people that it truly makes sense to have Game Pass are parents. If you are a parent and you have 2 to 3 children that are aged between 8 and 18, somewhere in that range, right? Where they can actually play most of the library and they can just play this shit day in and day out because that's the thing, right? Children are money poor but time rich, right? They can spend, freaking 40, 50 hours on these things every single week. If you are that parent and you can set them up with their own consoles, but then get them all the access to the games through your one Game Pass account, oh yeah, sky's the limit. Because now you're thinking to yourself, well, I was going to have to pay, 2 or 3 games for each of these motherfuckers anyway. By the time that you multiply that shit by 9 times 70, oh yeah, 360 isn't so bad after that. And now you can just be like, hey, you know what? Daddy doesn't buy you games outright. If you want to play for a game, this is where you find it. If it's not here, cry about it. I agree with your mama, but I'm not paying for anything besides this subscription. And that's who it makes the most sense for. But again, that is such a limited avatar. And you know what? The entire thing is just fucked up by day and date. if they just remove the ended altogether, and I mean they removed it from 2 out of the 3 tiers, so you can just see that Emmanuel is right. They just keep proving that I've been right the entire time. They just don't want to let go of this final component, and yet I'm like, let go of it, let it go, and then suddenly you can just be in the same position as PlayStation Plus. Because again, if you're just doing a back catalog of games that are already old, like the Ubisoft classics, do you think that Ubisoft charges money to like Microsoft and Sony for like they'll probably like, look, listen, PlayStation, we'll give it you for $1,000, okay? Look, we need money, okay? Just give them all access. Just give us $1,000, we'll be happy. You know, they don't charge much money for games that are released back in 2010. Assassin's Creed 2 isn't costing Xbox, 7 out of the $30 a month that you're paying them. It's not, okay? It is extremely cheap. It is pennies on the dollar for them to offer you that service because it's such an old range of titles that have already maximized all of the sales performance they were ever going to get. I mean, go and try to get these games on Steam, and you will easily find them at 90% off. Sometimes they're like 90% off individually, and then they will bundle the entire collection for another 90% off. You can have all of these games for like $20 on Steam if you find the right sale. So again, it is pennies on the dollar, but that's what they're trying to do. Listen, another thing that I wanted to point out, and this goes back to Craig's original point, which is the whole get it ready. And as much as we love Craig for saying that, we have to give credit to Sean Layden for, in many ways, saying it, kind of like first from like a big executive, because he told you that when he was at PlayStation, he penciled this shit out, and it was going to have to cost $50 a month in order to make this shit work and release brand new games day and date into the service. I remember when he said that, he was mocked and lambasted in the streets for somehow, how would he know that? And I was like, wait a second. Like, you people accuse Sony of being greedier than Microsoft. The Sony guy, is telling you, we've done the calculations. Like, no shit, they've done the calculations. I always say this, if Game Pass strategy could make a single dollar more than the a la carte strategy, Sony will be on it. There is no way Sony will leave that dollar out there for the hanging. They'll be like, nope, we're taking it for the taking. And the guy told you when he penciled it out at Sony, because people always acted like he just went to a bar and then he just sat down on a napkin and he was like, yeah.
Like he was drunk, like he's down his 5th shot of Jameson, and he's like, I don't think it's gonna work. He did the math in his head. I'm like, I did the math in his head.
Exactly. They literally acted like it was the back of a napkin calculation. I'm like, are you dumb? He's telling you what his financial advisors told him when he was at Sony. He was going to pencil out to $50 a month. So guess what? Craig is right. Do you think 30 is bad? 50 is what they need to be. They've been walking their way every single year towards this thing. And ever since he said it, all they've been doing, just like me with the day and date, they've been removing day and date progressively. Oh, they've been moving towards his $50 a month. So that's why it's stopping. In case people want to be like, oh, how far are they going to go? They're going to go up to 50. Because that's what the price actually is. I did I saw Doc Dark, right? Great person. And he did a retro, kind of like the day after, an introspective. And he said to himself, is this still worth it at $30 a month? And for his particular case scenario, because he's a parent, because he's a heavy gamer himself, he was like, oh, damn, this shit still makes sense at $30 a month. And I was like, yeah, it still makes sense at $30 a month because you're still getting a deal. Because you're still not paying the $50 a month you need to be paying for Game Pass. So yeah, in a very particular scenario, it will still make sense to you. And that's why Sony has not gone down that way. Because they know that $30 a month isn't enough. If you wanted Ghost of Yote to release it to PlayStation Plus, you have to give up $50. In which case you're like, wait, why the fuck would I do that? But that's what the math pencils to. The math doesn't care about your feelings. Like Craig always says, you either get it ready or you don't. The math doesn't care about your ability to pay for it. The math is this service with AAA day-and-date games needs to cost $50 a month in order to pencil out. We can argue about it, we can fight about it, we can discuss it, but at the end of the day, The people with all of the numbers and all of the statistics, this is like arguing with climate scientists about whether climate change is real. You don't know shit, but all of the geologists in the world, all of the eco-scientists in the world, all of the everybody's telling you, yeah, no, it's actually real. And you want to be like, but I also think the earth is flat. No, bro, it doesn't matter. Craig got it right. Get it ready because this thing is going all the way up to 50. And Sean Layden told you this a whole long time ago. In fact, Sean Layden should have hired Craig as his PR because as soon as he said that, he should have just been like, Craig, do your thing. And Craig should have just been like, hey, get it ready. Okay? Because
he would have told the board members, get it ready. You know, like all them, but you know, they would all been talking Japanese. Like, is that an American lingo? What does that mean? Like, I don't know. They'll be all confused.
They'll be like, I don't understand, but I feel violated.
All right.
I'm
gonna move it over to the brain real quick, but just to show some of the reactions from the hardcore Xbox fanboys. There we go. So where were they at before? So this was September 29th after Mikey Barber's saying your console's dead. So of course Xbox fanboys, the super fanboys, are clapping back, saying your console is dead, coming soon to Xbox Game Pass, and destroying Ninja Gaiden 4 and Outer Worlds 2. You know, being sarcastic. You know, pretty much defending it, saying that the console's not dead. But now with this price hike, the same fanboy is saying, make yourself a favor and go ahead and cancel your subscription. Canceling mine now, your pocket over everything. That's from a hardcore fanboy, right? Of course, Red Dragon's collecting some receipts out there.
You know he would. You know he would.
Of course. He says, Xbox has lost their most devoted Xbox. Game Pass cancellation page broke due to so many flooding the site. As Xbox says, you'll pay more than an Xbox Series S every year and own nothing. Be happy as you eat the bugs. Well, Brad Sams is one of those devoted ones, right? A huge devotee to the Xbox. Let me get this window here going. Okay, there we go. Brad Sams, probably the first time I have considered actually downgrading or moving to PC for next gen. I think that's a huge thing. Because right now he's considering moving from console to PC, which I think many of us talked about. That's what Microsoft wants. They want the mass exodus.
Yep.
They want you off the console because they don't want to make it
the PC.
More. They want you on PC.
Again, they're shutting it down. They're shutting it down. Like shout out to the late great Val Kimmer, Iceman. I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting it down. That's what they're doing. They're shutting down. They're literally. I don't get it. Porter Rock. They said, they woke up one morning and said, we're going to go up to $800. We're going to, now they go up on Game Pass, like for the second time in 9 months. I don't know what else they can do except come out and say, kick rocks. I mean, I got somebody just gave me some skinny, nasty information. I'll break this news right now. If you don't have stock in Asus, you may want to go ahead and start getting your buy ready. Get it ready. Like get it ready. Okay.
Oh man.
For Monday.
Shit.
You better get it ready.
We're doing some insider trading.
Right.
60 frames don't lag.
I think J-Dub knows what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna get the SEC out of me, man. This guy's gonna put, what's that shit Oh man, this guy's doing insider trading live on the podcast. Oh shit. This guy's gonna have the government agency.
I just make people millionaires.
Jesus.
I gave the lottery numbers away.
About to be
give you the strategy.
Shit. One of us is about to be Diddy's roommate. Oh man! At the rate this is going. Oh shit! Man. Thanks, Craig. God. All right, let me finish this up.
Diddy, you just walk in there and be like, "Get it ready, Diddy. It's your turn."
Oh man, about to be Diddy. Someone's gonna be Diddy's roommate. Oh man, here we go. So Brad Sams,
I brought my baby oil.
Oh man. He says I'm bringing my own baby oil. The new benefits.
I got my own brand.
The new benefits have zero value to me personally. The premium tiers has little value, so maybe just essential and get rid of ultimate. So Brad Sands, big Xbox advocate, not liking it. Mr. Matty Plays says I'm basically out of words. Yeah, I'm basically out of words for Xbox at this point. At this point, they know that's the problem. Like y'all should have had words a long time ago. But now that you know what I'm saying, and I always use this reference. Yeah, as an example, you don't start saying, the house is on fire after it's on fire because it's too late. You got to see in the kitchen, be like, hey, that temperature looks kind of high, and you have a lot of oil there. You might want to, fix that before the kitchen's on fire. Like, fix it, But they ignored all those signs and issues because they want to be friends with the corporation, and now they're realizing the corporation's not friends with you. Interesting. Yep. But anyway, Mr. Matty Play says, I'm basically out of words for Xbox at this point. With 2 hardware price hikes in a single year, a failed attempt at $80 games, going multi-plat, and now a major Game Pass price pump, they've eliminated quite literally every competitive advantage or bit of appeal they had. And then Tom Warren, there's still no annual subscription for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. That means it's $360 a year, which is more than the Xbox Series S $300 when it first launched.
Man.
And then the screenshot of the system being overwhelmed due to the mass amount of people attempting to cancel. Because I guess you had to go directly to the website.
Oh man, they got a brother up there climbing the ladder like he can't reach.
I know, right?
Book.
I'm just saying, man. What's going on here, man? All right, so moving on to the brain. So what's going on, brain? What's your view on all this?
So, my view on all of this is this: it's several sayings that comes to my mind. Too bad, too sad. A Caribbean saying, "If you don't listen, you must feel." And the one that I gotta give credit to another YouTuber because I think what he says actually captures this perfectly well. Play games, not corporations. Now, as far as with this whole thing with Xbox Game Pass, I specifically remember, I want to say back in 2017 that the way that it was touted as being a value. As far as Bob, hey, if you don't want to pay for games, you can get this. You can get subscribed to our to this subscription, and if you, to M's point, if you like a game that you see that much or that you play so much, you wind up buying it. If not, then no foul, no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Also, and I also a lot of things come to my mind. What's the guy's name that came up with X is going to give it to you? Like I just remember a whole lot of showboating, a whole lot of bragging.
They weren't lying, brain. They ain't lying. X did give it to him.
Yeah, X is gonna give it to you. X gave it to them.
It was a Trojan horse, no pun intended. It's just crazy because of as you said, Craig, as M said, and as Porter Rock said, there was just so many warnings that they had. Whereas, hey, this is not sustainable. You guys are listening to the wrong. First of all, you listening to podcasters that don't know what they're talking about, and even if these guys would have made a decision, let's just say even a year ago, I wouldn't, I would give them some type of credit because they jumped ship from a sinking ship. But now it's like all of a sudden it's like, well, yeah, we want to get rid of our subscriptions because it is too much money, which I give credit for. It is too much money because even I wouldn't pay for it. But on the same token, it was a give-take relationship, and what I mean by that is, okay, Xbox is giving you a subscription service that is supposedly a lot of value, but at the same time, you had a lot of people, if I recall correctly, that was finessing the system somehow. That, hey, if I can articulate it correctly, instead of paying the actual monthly payments, they were subscribing like, hey, I got a new computer. I get I get 3 months of subscription of Game Pass for free, or I got this type of code that I can only get it for $1, and I guess that it caught up to them, on top of Microsoft still having to or the Xbox division, excuse me, the Xbox division still having to catch up with or somehow recoup the money that they spent for spending the $100 billion. So and also what another thing that comes to my mind is Microsoft itself. I think part of the reason why Microsoft is a $1 trillion company is because of I go back to the whole Microsoft Office thing. I remember at one point in time only once you bought Microsoft Office, it was yours. It was yours forever. You paid that one. You paid that one charge. That was it. But now, in order to have Microsoft Office, we're paying yearly subscription fees. And to me, it only makes sense that that type of logic will eventually find its way down to to the gaming division as well with Xbox. But I don't feel bad for anybody in this situation, because at one end you had cheapsters versus a greedy company, and at some point it was going to come to a head. And the fact that you had so many people that were champion how this was such a much better deal than, and I'm gonna be petty here, how you have so many people that was champion how this was such a much better deal than than the PlayStation subscription. But now it certainly isn't. I mean, $300. I mean, excuse me, $360 to only get $400. I mean, to play 400 games, and it's not even a yearly subscription versus what PlayStation's highest tier. You play 800 game. Yeah, you could play 800 games at $160 a year. It's like, hey man, it's a no brainer. Only thing I can say to this as well, and it wouldn't surprise me, is if Sony doesn't try to follow suit. Whereas, they, instead of paying $160 a year, we got to pay, I don't know, $230 a year for, to get the premium, or to basically get the same thing that we currently get right now. So it's like, like we told y'all, like y'all literally had 7 years to figure this shit out, and hey, and you guys didn't figure it out until it's fucking too late. Too bad, too sad, and that's it for me.
I mean, I just want to pick up
getting
after
it
him.
ready.
The brain you said about the cost. I don't think that Sony is going to increase the cost because Microsoft did it. I always say that these companies, they have their own plans and their own timelines. They will increase the cost, but that will be according to their own strategic metric. But what it will do is that when they do increase the cost eventually, they'll be like, hey, at least we're not as bad as those guys, right? So there it is. One thing though that I wanted to say is that you talked about the influencers. I have noticed something in the last few days. None of these people know what PlayStation Plus offers. Like, none of them knows what PlayStation Plus offers. Because I've seen so many people be like, oh, PlayStation Plus is like so much worse in value. And I'm like, is it though? Is it?
Right.
Because, they also have day and date games. They don't promise it, but they do day and date games. People are just spreading out the biggest amount of misinformation. I had some people say that, oh, PlayStation Plus is only like 100 games. And I'm like, it's like 500, bro. It's like, it's more than what Game Pass Ultimate gives you, But anyways, just listen. If you are an Xbox person and you're listening to the podcast and you enjoy subscription services and everything like that, and you're thinking to yourself, the best deal in gaming is gone and that'll never be replicated again, go take a look at what PlayStation Plus has to offer, because you might be pleasantly surprised by what you find there.
Yep, there's PS1 games, PS2 games. You unfortunately have to stream PS3 games, but there is some that have been ported, like all the Uncharted's and more. But like, yeah, the PlayStation 5 right now is the only console where I can play the original Resident Evil trilogy, Twisted Metal 1, 2, 3, 4, Jet Moto 1 and 2. There's so many fucking games on there. That's just, it's just they're lying.
And if you have Plus, and remember, if you have Plus, you can do movies as well. The Sony Motion, whatever that's called. If you have premium,
Craig all about the movies, dog.
Go ahead and do that.
No wonder
PlayStation
3 was his favorite console. It's all about the Blu-ray.
Well, I never had that. Yeah. No, I mean, let me say this: with Sony about to get into their acquisition mode, they're not going to buy companies. They're going to buy the
IPs.
IP
They want
out
IPs.
of those companies. Yeah, they want so this, like a bakery. They don't want the bakery. They just want some of the pies and cakes up out of the bakery. So I've been
want
talking
that
about
recipe.
this. They're really. Yeah, they're talking to CD Projekt Red. People are like, we're not going to buy CD Projekt Red. I say, yeah, but they make movies and TV shows, and The Witcher does have a TV show, but it doesn't have a movie. And Sony is trying to get movie rights to put that on this. Yeah, that way. And they want Cavill back playing The Witcher, the original guy that was on Netflix. So he plays Superman as well. But yeah, there's people don't understand. They say, well, they're going to buy. Like, no, they're not going to buy CD Projekt Red when you can. They want the IP to make a movie. Again, remember, they're expanding across different platforms with their IP. That's why you got a Halo Horizon movie, a God of War TV show coming out. That's them expanding into different areas. People are dumb. Yeah, that's all I really say at this point. You people are just stupid.
All right,
So,
let me pass it
the
over
Witcher
to
show
Henry.
was ruined. Yeah, I agree.
Let me pass it over to
Yeah.
Henry. But before that, let me do some super chats. We got Cyfix38 says Microsoft is the Dallas Cowboys of video games.
Oh man.
And
that's accurate.
so I know extreme is probably like I have no idea what that means.
Ain't no
The best example. So picture which is your favorite sport? Extreme? Is it soccer, rugby, football? Okay, so picture a team that in the 90s they dominated, but not since the 90s have they ever went back to championship. Yet since the 90s, the fan base swears this is their year. Since the 90s. That's the Dallas Cowboys. That's the Dallas Cowboys.
Right,
yeah, so now you see the
I
transition.
came for
If
video
Xbox
game
was a sports
content,
team,
not slander on my
I
team.
get it.
The Cowboys.
Was,
So here,
No,
so you see
you
that?
can't- you
Show
can't.
extreme. Show extreme. It's right behind them.
Listen,
It's right behind. Look
You
at that.
can't compare them to the
Cowboys.
Cowboys because
What year
Microsoft
was that
never
Super
won a
Bowl?
championship.
What year was that Super Bowl? That one Super Bowl.
95.
95. 90, he wasn't even born. He wasn't even born in 95.
No, you have to compare Microsoft to a team that's never won the Super Bowl. Because the Cowboys
shit.
have actually won before.
At least they won.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It'd have to be a
That's
different
crazy.
team.
That shit is crazy.
Buffalo
All
Bills.
right. So shout out
That was
to
a
Cypher.
great super chat, though. That was a great super chat. Though.
And then we got Sean K. the King says, "Bad podcast, hands down. Y'all killing it. Sorry I couldn't make it. Platinum grinding. Laugh out loud.
Nice.
You know,
Do it.
all them games. You know, my man's Monday. He's gonna come back Tuesday. He's at 1600. All right.
I've got no platinums. I mean, I feel terrible. Actually, I don't.
Step it up. All right, Henry.
Craig,
So he's
don't
gonna
have
bring a
single
little bit of
family?
sense and sensibility to this conversation. So you see multiple things from Microsoft, and it almost seems like I don't want to use the word care, but they don't care. I don't know, something's going on. In a rapid pace, they increase their hardware twice. They raised the price of their Xbox consoles twice, and now $800, $650. Even their cheapest entry, which is the Wii console, Xbox Series S, is $400 now, right? When they had to know, they know that their consoles don't sell at all, but they still raise the price to these dramatic, even beyond what PlayStation is even selling their consoles. Their most expensive console is more expensive than Sony's most expensive console, which is the Pro. That's how ridiculous Microsoft. And now they add this. Now here's the thing, all right? Let's see if you could touch or just put some insight to this. We said multiple times, I know I said this multiple times, that if you are an Xbox console owner, there is only one reason why you would choose that console, especially at this point in time, is for Game Pass. There is nothing of value that console brings other than accessing Game Pass because there is no other console that does that. Sure, there's other devices like PC, but if you don't want to play like J-Dub says it all the time, some people don't want to play on PC. They don't want to spend $1,000, $1,500 configure. They just want the simplicity of a console. Okay, so if you want the simplicity of a console at a decent cost and Game Pass, there is only one console in the market that does that. Xbox. But now they put Game Pass at its most unattractive price ever. So not only did they do that, now it's like, why am I on Xbox? It isn't because of exclusives, because it doesn't have any. It isn't because of Microsoft first party, because the first party is on PlayStation. And to be honest, the better version is on PlayStation with DualSense. I could get the Pro, get the best experience. It's like, what is it now? And then on top of that, they throw in $1,000 handheld that doesn't even play your full library other than Play Anywhere titles. Microsoft made all these moves that people are just underwhelmed overall. Increased console prices, $1,000 handhelds, and now $30 a month for Game Pass. It's like, what's your view on this? Is this like Microsoft really? If Microsoft is Xbox really, not Microsoft, but Xbox really that in a pinch of these massive price increases? Is Microsoft just creating the stage that, hey, if you really want us to be in hardware, you have to pay a much expensive price or we're out? Like, what is your view on all this? Because this is a lot of just decisions. I don't know if it's good or bad. I'll say it's bad, but it's just a lot of decisions that just doesn't scream come to Xbox. None of these decisions say, yeah, you definitely want to play on Xbox. What do you think, Henry?
Well, I think the decision to put all their eggs into Game Pass in hope to garner like increase in user base was a huge gamble that failed miserably, right? I'm actually a little surprised that they would raise the price like now because there's like no gain for them to do so, right? But I'm also not surprised because like the generation has not gone well at all for Xbox Series, right? They're just they I don't know, they trip out of the gate. Like if this is like a 400 meters hurdle, they trip on the first one and just never got back up. And they just kept on crawling and jeez. So yeah, I honestly I don't even know how to pinpoint where this is. The the corporate decision is one thing, and I also think like it also catered to this user base are so accustomed to not paying anything, right? And then every time you try to bring some reason and rationale into the system, trying to tell them, hey, the math doesn't balance out, right? Like, and then you're always met with, well, Microsoft is $1 trillion company, right? Game Pass is sustainable. Well, first of all, it's as sustainable as Microsoft is willing to pay for it, and they quickly found out they don't want to pay for it because there's just not enough subscription fee that can balance the books, right? And even when they're claiming profiting for Game Pass, they had to manipulate the books, right? They have to remove all these costs in order to say Game Pass is profitable, right? Otherwise, if they put all that other expenses that are related that truly count, it's not profitable. Right? They spend way too much money on acquisitions in hopes to buy out the competition instead of like trying to outdo them. I think the users themselves have to kind of reflect on themselves to keep on supporting this being part of this cycle where they don't want to pay for gaming, and Microsoft in looking at ways to cut their expenses, which affected the quality of their products, which led to further driving away of their fan base. Or like I was talking to J Dub and Craig before we started the cast, and this is like Microsoft doesn't do a whole lot of marketing, and I don't think they want to do a whole lot of marketing when it comes to gaming, because like if you talk to anybody that's walking on the street and you want like a positive impression of video game system, like just casual gamers outside of Twitter space, right? So it's PlayStation, right? And then the young ones, the ones that wants like colorful palettes and fun, they go for Nintendo. Nobody ever says, yeah, Xbox. Like, well, the Xbox really cater to a crowd that's a dedicated gamers, but they never were able to expand their demographics to variety because they don't get the games. I think they tried, like I think they had exclusive on Tomb Raider during the 360 days, and I think they found out that's a bad investment for them because they couldn't get people to buy their consoles for it. Right? So they, when it comes to Xbox One, they're like, nah, we're just gonna focus on like our own, like Forza, Halo, Gears, and we're not gonna sign any more third-party exclusive whatsoever. And here we are. So, but I think the biggest expense is like when the math doesn't balance, you have to think about it. Like they keep saying, like I think the people that are for Game Pass. Sorry, I ranted on. The people kept on arguing for Game Pass, saying there is money going into it. It's being sustained by, but Microsoft will want that money back somehow. Like you can't just expect, like them to like pay for you. I don't understand that rationale, right? So, and here we are. I don't think I need to explain anymore, but I am really sad that we're 2 generations away from the glory days of 360. Yeah, it could have been, but it chose not to be.
Well said.
Well, I
Well said.
just think they miscalculated the whole TV thing. I mean, there was more planned for that console than they were going to have it hooked up to cable, and they're going to do a lot of things with that Xbox, the one in the big green and white box. But it didn't work out. The TV companies did not agree with them, and the VR people that they were making their VR with, they couldn't get a good price on that. So it's just a whole lot went wrong all of a sudden. And then and the price wasn't right. $500.
They don't learn their lessons from each other, right? The PlayStation, the generation before that, has attempted that and failed. So, well, and then here they are. But I think the marketing execs simply don't study the market.
Yeah, and I don't
come in. Yeah,
me personally, I don't care that they failed. I mean, they're still in business, but they have failed. What I just don't understand, and I'm not going to lose sleep over it, is why people didn't listen to Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and Amy the Hood, and why didn't they listen to them? They told them what they were doing. I mean, Sarah Bond came over from either, like I said, AT&T
T-Mobile?
or T-Mobile,
Yeah.
something like that. It's like, okay, they're telling you what they're about to do. And if you don't want to listen to me, that's fine. You didn't want to listen to King Thrash, fine. We told everybody. Phil Spencer made an announcement on a video saying, "What if you could play the game you want on the device you want?" And he said that in a video, and it's like, okay, what if I want to play the game I want on a Nintendo console or they said we want to be the Netflix of gaming. They have told everybody what they're doing, and people just didn't want to believe it. It became about 12 T-flops and 52 CUs and VRR and VRS, whatever. So, it's sad to see this happen, but I don't feel bad for them because I think Porter Rod he's put up a thing where there's a clearance sale at Sam's. I don't know if that's real or if it's AI. I mean, if that's real, that means they're going out a bit. Why do they have a clearance sale on anything? Forget about it being Xbox. Let's just say they're having a clearance sale on Doritos. That means that they're probably going to go out like we have all this overstock. We have all this overstock here in the back. Nobody's buying this shit. Let's go ahead and get it on the floor, and then we're going to charge this a firehouse sale. That's what they're doing, and they're not going to restock this thing. Guarantee they won't restock it. Go ahead and buy one if you're a collector. I'll say to you right now, buy one and just and don't take it out of the box. Just buy it. It's a souvenir. Like people bought Concord. They still have Concord controllers, and some people still have the game. So just buy it and say, "Yeah, look, I bought one. I'm a collector. This is an Xbox," and they discontinued the series.
Yeah, I think they stopped production. I don't think they're manufacturing any more new units. They might have been converting their factories to build something else. That's
I don't blame them.
Yeah. I don't blame them. And I'm guessing that they're just trying to let the what do you call those? The trademark of Xbox run out until it becomes Microsoft Gaming. They're just using that because it's just Microsoft Gaming, really. Like not with this PC, right? So that's my more extreme take. So shout out to Glassdoor Gamer. He's like he's supporting our podcast multiple times every show.
Absolutely, man. Glassdoor Gamers.
I just want to throw that. Yeah.
So let me move over. So we got someone new, first time, but before that, let me catch up on the super chats. Glassdoor Gamer says, "When is that new Kid Smooth single gonna drop?" Oh man, that Gamepass single. Oh man, man, I gotta check up on Kid Smooth. He's going through it. That dude, he's the only one I feel sorry for, man. He's the only Xbox I feel sorry for. I feel real bad for the dude, man. He's going through it. And Glassdoor Gamer with another super chat says, "I personally think there's only really 2 console companies that can survive in this industry at a time. We saw it when Nintendo, Sony pushed out Atari, then Sega, now Xbox." Really? Yeah,
I disagree with that.
You think so? Like, so I think I'll be honest. I think a period where 3 consoles generally was successful was really PS3, 360, and the Wii. The gen before that, GameCube scraped by with 25 million, whatever. Xbox, OG Xbox, kind of scraped by. Dreamcast finished. PlayStation 2 completely dominated. But I think the most well balanced gen was 360, PS3, and Wii. But any other generation, it was primarily two consoles. Two consoles kind of held the majority. For example, the PS1, N64, and Saturn, it was really N64 and PS1. The Saturn
Well,
didn't do
Saturn
too
was
well.
failing. So
Saturn was failing.
The
Genesis.
third one is not making money. The third
No?
console
Oh, yeah.
is not making money.
The third console curse, right? Genesis and Super Nintendo. Everything else was failing. TurboGrafx 16, Neo Geo,
3DO,
3DO.
everything.
Neo Geo.
Jaguar.
Here's the thing.
Atari Jaguar.
Yeah, Jaguar. Like those are really I mean, I think two
But then
consoles
the
is
market-
possibly
The market was much smaller back then.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I disagree. I think we could have up to 4 successful consoles. The only thing is just that each one of them, just like Nintendo is doing, would have to fit their particular lane. So, for example, a person could, if they were having exclusives, try to compete with Nintendo in terms of having like a more premium handheld, but then actually offer exclusives for that handheld. Because that's the thing, Nintendo is the only handheld with exclusives. That's why they are selling. So this handheld market, it is there is definitely more competition to be had over there, but you have to commit to actually creating exclusives for that market. And I think you also have to commit to being a more premium in terms of the hardware power, so that you can actually port certain third-party games more readily to that platform as well. So I think that there could be one more competitor there at least. I think that we could find someone to replace Xbox, because Microsoft has infinite money. They could just decide to be smart, hire Potterrock, myself, and Henry, and we'll go there
and we'll fix this.
it. Or they can, decide to be bougie and hire J-Dub, and he'll fix it for much more money because he's going to be paid a lot more. He's going to be paid as much as the three of us combined. The point is, they could just turn around and be like, oh, actually, we'll be smart instead. So they could do it. But I do think that the market was much smaller back then, and you were appealing to kids. Because remember, you were not appealing to the people that actually made the money and were actually going to spend the money. You were counting on children to convince their parents to go and spend all this money. And remember, over there, it was actually a lot of money. It was like, you had like $70 games back then, which will translate to like $150 today. Because I guess that's what they had to take in order to make things make sense. But in reality, I think that the market is much the market is much bigger today. And by the way, if you're like, oh, where will we get all of these exclusives from? Are you going to create like brand new studios? Listen, go and make deals with people like Clay Obscure, people like Hollow Knight, Silksong. Indies have been killing it. I think that this year, if it wasn't for the amazing AAA games that we also got, this year, the entire Game of the Year lineup could have been just all indies. Like between Split Fiction, Clear Obscure, Hollow Knight Silksong, you've had so many other indies that I'm even just forgetting about right at this moment. But that would just be hugely. If you look at the best performing games on Metacritic this year, like out of 10, 6 of those are the indies. So imagine if you went as you were like, hey, I'm creating a new console and I'm going to bet on you guys. You guys are going to be my exclusives, So, you don't have to go. Obviously, you still have to make your own, right? In order to, show what your hardware can do. But you don't also have to just go and be like, oh, I'm going to buy an EA. I'm going to buy an Activision. I'm going to buy a Ubisoft in order to create a new platform. So, no, I think that there's heaps of talent out there to be found. There's heaps of places that could create. And if it were me that was going to do this, I would try to center my market instead of the United States, the UK, and Europe. I would try to center my market around India, China, and probably Africa as well. Like get my roots there, because PlayStation and Xbox and to some extent Nintendo, they're not in those markets. And India and China alone have 2 billion people. So if I can go in and make that my base of operations, and I can grow my business there, and then eventually move west rather than starting off trying to fight PlayStation in the US. Because if you're going to go up against PlayStation or Nintendo in the US, I mean, you've got to be suicidal or you've got to be Apple. Like you need that either a huge brand power, or you just
Apple had a console once. Apple had a console once. It didn't go
Pippin.
too well.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If they release one now, it will. That's the issue. Because now they're not the same as they were back then. So it's either you have that huge brand power already, or you just accept that you cannot compete over here as your starting point. I will start in India. I will start in China. I will start in places
Start in the weaker
where
markets. Start in the weaker markets
exactly,
with less
places
competition.
when they're not dominated,
and build your brand,
Yeah.
build your name there.
Exactly.
And then expand
Exactly.
outside once people become interested. That's a smart move. That is a smart move. So we got Terabint here.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I want to give a shout out. So
let me
go
add
ahead.
a little
Of
bit to
course.
that. May I? Yeah. So just to piggyback off M's point, like I remember PlayStation 1, like when it was released, it set the record of selling 100,000 units in the first weekend. That was a big deal, right? 100,000 sounds like what? Like nothing.
It's nothing now,
right?
Today.
Right.
Now,
and,
yeah, but
and
yeah.
Dreamcast broke that record by tripling it.
Yeah.
But Dreamcast failed, and that's how big the market, the pie has been expanded.
Yeah.
And I think the issue with that is when you make the market bigger, market is tied to marketing. And marketing to a lot of people who are not dedicated gamers like us are going to look at what is popular, and they flock to increase the share of the popular unit, which is, I think that the third place is always going to suffer. That's all. And then if we let J-Dub run Microsoft, he's probably just going to end up selling everything to PlayStation anyway. So, I think that's what's going to happen.
He like,
I mean, they're doing
man,
that right now. So.
He like J-Dub, like you guys don't. He's like, as soon as they make J-Dub in charge, he's like, listen, you're all fired because you have no idea what you're doing. We're just gonna give this to PlayStation, all right, and let them handle.
They would actually
shit,
make
all
more
right?
money like that.
If you guys don't recall, but the moment Sony got into gaming with PlayStation, it basically dominated from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2. Sony has ran all the competition that competed in that lane.
$35 games. $30 games.
Yeah,
right?
has basically ran them out of that lane. So Nintendo was smart. They said, listen, we can't compete with PlayStation on their turf. We're gonna do what we do best, which is our handheld, and because nobody can compete with us with that, and that's the market they took. That's why they've been able to survive and do what they do and be successful. Microsoft stayed in that lane. Obviously Sega, right? Sony ran Sega out because they tried to compete in that lane. Microsoft came in, tried to compete in that lane, and they were very competitive for 1-2 generations, but the management and everything else kind of screwed that up. But technically, in order for them to be competitive, Sony had to basically fail, and that's with the PlayStation 3, right? Sony had to give their worst for Microsoft to be competitive at their best with the 360 era. So think about it with the PS3. If Sony would have really knocked it out the park and wouldn't have flubbed it up, would it really have been competitive? No, it really wouldn't have been competitive because all it took was Sony to lower the price, and all it took was for them to get some big exclusives out the door. They got with the Uncharted and the Last of Us and stuff like that, and the rest is history. So ultimately, I don't think anybody can come in and go toe to toe with them in their lane because that's what they do. But I think you can come in a different space, not stepping on their toes, not in their lane, not in Nintendo's lane, but in a different lane, and you could be there and you could be successful with that, and you can do that. And eventually you can get big enough where you start cross-pollinating over, like M said, with some of the indies, maybe some of the double A's, some of the other markets. And eventually when you get a larger install base, you could little by little probably siphon off some people from Sony or maybe even Nintendo, but I just don't see anybody being able to compete with PlayStation. Phil
I just
Spencer
want to
said
say
that.
that
Didn't Phil Spencer say that? He said we can't compete. We
Yeah, he
can't
did.
compete with PlayStation and Nintendo. They're just too good at what they do. They just got this shit on lock. And he said it. And it's true. And so if you're coming in a new market, you gotta have exclusives, or you have to have a niche or something that the other two don't have.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you have that, guess what? Nintendo and Sony both are going to try to copy that and mimic that. We saw with the Wii, right? We saw with the Wii, with the remote, what happened? Sony came back with the damn Move controllers, right? They're not gonna just let you get away, right? Nintendo started off with the handhelds. Sony came with the PSP and the Vita, right? It's just they're not gonna let that go too far. They're not going to let you get an upper hand like that. So it's going to be an uphill climb for whoever comes in and take over after Xbox is out of here.
All right. Let me jump on. Glassdoor has another super chat. Sony changed gaming to M's point. Gaming was for kids, but PlayStation was marketing to European rave scenes, teens, and 20-year-olds were buying it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Your mic is actually up again, by the way.
Is it? Is it
That's right.
crappy?
We'll just
Shout out to Glassdoor.
It's botching a little bit.
And there's
we'll just
300
make up his
people in
missing
here.
words.
Hit the like
We'll just
button.
make-
300
shout out
people
to
in here. Hit the like button. Shout out to Glassdoor.
Yeah. Everybody's here waiting to hear what we have to say about Microsoft being the way they are. Gosh. Or a Friday. Yeah. So.
On a Friday. Yeah, this is huge.
Okay, back at it. All right, back at it. How's it sound now? Back in play. Back in play.
Yeah.
All right.
Better, much better.
So okay, so we got some. Hey, you changed your name 144 the Terabint?
Yeah, that's my YouTuber name. So that's more. I just kind of consolidated my name.
Oh, you fucked me
it
up.
means the
I'm
same
like-
thing. Yeah.
I'm like, who the
no,
fuck
it's the
is
same
this?
thing as Mighty Tree. Terabint is the same
Mighty Tree.
thing.
Oh, Terabint, Mighty Tree. Okay, what's going on?
We got
brother?
a new person.
Yeah, I was like, we got a new one using the same profile. I was like,
yeah, I've had to do.
So
that
was you? That was you? That was you in the drive-through?
That was me in the drive-through. Yeah.
Oh, what did you get?
I just got some Taco Bell because they have this thing.
And you worried about healthy foods while getting Taco Bell. You worried about GMO.
Microsoft Xbox.
You out here worried about GMO Tyson chicken.
That Sarah Bond Tyson CEO thing. And
he worried about Tyson chicken, GMO. He worried about GMO chicken while eating Taco Bell.
Hell yeah, I'm just talking shit.
So what are your thoughts so far? Because you're the last one to give your thoughts about this.
Yo, I'm glad y'all brought up this conversation again on a Friday, so shout out to y'all for that. But I've been listening to everybody, I listened to y'all's podcast the other day when Doc was on the show, and that shit was funny as hell, man. So I was also listening to King Crash was on a podcast with I think somebody called Mooch TV or something like that.
Yeah, Crossfire.
Yeah. And he brought up a really good point and I think one of y'all mentioned this earlier, that revenue doesn't mean profit, right? Like if they say $5 billion that they've made, that doesn't tell you how much they're actually scratching to make a profit on Game Pass, right? And so what Microsoft does is, when we've seen this over and over and over, how sneaky they are with telling you to your face something that just tries to give you some kind of an enchantment to take you away from what they're actually doing, right? They give you this old bait and switch. I'm gonna give you an example, like with that girl when she was talking about that when they announced the changes to Game Pass. What did she say? She said, "We're here to show you the new updates, the new upgrades for Game Pass." No, bitch, you just raised the price. That's what y'all changed. Y'all were here talking about upgrades. No, I'll tell you, a company that upgrades their game, shout out to Hello Games, the makers of No Man's Sky, when they give you an upgrade, they don't charge you more for it. They don't charge. They've been updating No Man's Sky since it launched, right? That game came so far from what it first was, to the point where they're making memes about bullies that are shoving updates down people's throats, like, you gonna get this new free update and you gonna like it, like. And Sean Murray, the CEO of Hello Games, he's like sharing the meme because it's funny. It's like they've been overdoing it with their updates, free updates, right? They supported PS4 Pro, now the PS5, now the PS5 Pro, and VR, and VR2. So like that's an update. That's an upgrade that we could say is for real. I was gonna say
real quick.
What's up?
Just to add to what you're saying, it's like, yeah, we listened to the feedback, and it was like, I don't think my feedback said upgrade the fucking price to this shit. What the
Exactly.
fuck? Go ahead.
Why would you force these things on
And what's
somebody that's
changing?
already at the tier that's giving them what they actually want? Why are you doing that to the one tier that gives them the day one access, right? That's a terrible idea. I was going to say this too, because this goes right along with what X was saying. He was on point when he said this earlier. This quote is, gaming is a luxury hobby, not so much for people with money, but for people with time, right? Now, Microsoft is trying to challenge that saying by increasing these prices like this, but of course they're still trying to say that, oh, we're giving you a value with what we're giving you. But what you brought out earlier, P-Rock, was real heavy. I didn't even know Sean Layden gave the specifics. He said that it would cost $50 a month for the Game Pass to be a sustainable model. Now that's crazy. You're either going to reach that sustainable model by raising the price or by having more subscribers. And we know that Xbox, their goal was to get 100 million subscribers on Game Pass. Now, because they've lost this generation and because they can't rely on the previous generation coupled with the current generation to get anywhere near 100 million, what they've done is they've done that sneaky thing again. Like, it's the same thing with their marketing, right? They try to sneak their way and snake their way into other conversations, into other avenues to try to superimpose certain player bases into their own ecosystem. That's what they've done with PC. Now, I was going back and forth on Twitter with VG Fight School. He even made a couple videos trying to come at me, right? Like, if you ever watch any of his content, he's been going back and forth with me on Twitter. But I told him, I said, the real Trojan horse is what Microsoft is doing to you PC gamers. Now, I will say this first and foremost: PC gamers don't put up with BS, and they catch things a lot quicker than these console gamers do on Xbox. So what Microsoft is doing to them, they're nipping it at every chance. They already see the BS where it's happening, but they've been so strongly defending
Getting an upgrade.
Game Pass as this oasis of gaming, you know, them coming from the PC and having the freedom that they have to then starting to be enticed into this ecosystem of being on subscription. But I don't think gaming is not as sustainable the way movies are, because they say, oh, Game Pass is going to be the Netflix of gaming. Well, think about Netflix, for example. When they make a show, when they make a movie, it has its production costs, it has whatever budget that they need to do, and then they release it, and then they throw it all out there, and then you watch it all and binge watch it all in one day, which I think is kind of dumb. But they do that, right? With games, it's not exactly the same, especially for games that have multiplayer, because you have to continuously support the development cycle of a game that does that. Now, what Microsoft does is they actually cut back on a lot of that, right? Like Doom, for example, that doesn't have a multiplayer now, but they used to have a multiplayer in Doom 2016. I don't even think Eternal had that, and I think that was also a Game Pass game. So anything
that was before they were purchased, though. Bethesda?
Was it? Oh, I don't know, but
I think so. But
I want to say Eternal was on
it.
Game Pass, though, wasn't it?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I can't remember.
Well, they do get third-party companies to come in either way, but when it's one of their first-party companies now, because of course Bethesda's going to be there, and then eventually Fallout, whatever the next Fallout is going to be, most likely going to be there, right? And so we know the next Fallout is going to have a multiplayer. It has to. It has to have something. It can't just be single player. And if it is, that's just another.
came out before they were purchased, so. It just makes sense, and it goes to with what you're saying. Like Doom, the Dark Ages didn't have a multiplayer. You know what I mean?
Right, and here's another thing too. This is another problem yet again with Microsoft, is that they bet on the wrong horse. They bet on Call of Duty to be this juggernaut that's always going to be big, always going to be favored, always going to be liked. Now, I will say this: during the time that Battlefield 2042 came out, their decision was looking like a really good decision, right? To back Call of Duty. But you look at Call of Duty and the way that it's gone lately with just the blatant nastiness of Beavis and Butthead and the running around with dudes that look like a shark and Ninja Turtles. And it's like, this is not Call of Duty. You know, the best dude bro game right now is about to launch next week, and that's Battlefield 6. You know what I'm saying? And VG was going back and forth with me. He was saying, well, where is the best place to play? And I said, it's PlayStation. He said, why are you saying that? You got to pay to play online. I said, well, first of all, I don't have to pay for the highest tier subscription to get what I want out of PlayStation Plus because y'all just raised the price of your Xbox Ultimate tier by the price of my entire annual subscription. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like you're talking about, I'm paying less than $7 a month for PlayStation Plus, right? And I didn't even have PlayStation Plus half the year because I've been playing single player games, so I didn't even need PlayStation Plus up until recently when I jumped back on, what was it, Helldivers, Battlefield 6, and a little bit of Gears of War Reloaded, right? So having online for that is where it became a necessity. And guess what? Now I'm just spending less than $6 a month for that. But my biggest argument is when Battlefield 6 comes out, I'm not going to be worried about cheaters because I could just hit turn off crossplay and boom, I ain't got to worry about that whole entire, smorgasbord of cheaters that try to come in and do whatever. Now, I will say perhaps Battlefield is going to get it right and that anti-cheat's going to work. We know that during the beta there was over 300,000, I think it was 300,000 attempted cheating, and that was all on PC during the beta for Battlefield 6. So what do you think is going to happen with this extended duration of the servers being live and people trying to figure out how to cheat in that game? I don't have to put up with that. If you're on PC, you're stuck with that. I'm on console and I'm able to play on the strongest console that's going to get the best frame rates, and I may even have a competitive edge over other people that are playing on console. And so I would say, yes, console is the best place to play, even in multiplayer games, even if I have to pay for an online subscription to play the game. I don't want to hear none of this BS about PC is the most superior when, of course, yeah, you may lower your resolution and your graphics to try to get the best latency, but that's not going to give you the competitive advantage if someone's cheating. So it ruins that part of the experience, and that's one of the reasons why I would even consider playing on PC is for the competitive advantage. I don't give a damn about playing a single-player game at 240 frames per second. I don't need that. 60 frames per second, Grand Theft Auto 6, that's going to be fantastic. You know what I'm saying? The image quality is going to be good because you know what PlayStation actually does, even more so than PC, is they set a standard on how graphics are going to move forward, and then that's the standard. They don't ever try to go backwards. On PC, they give you all this freedom, which is great, but a lot of times people are going to lower the graphic settings just to push those extra frame rates, just to get that extra, edge, right? And they'll do that with any game, whether it's Call of Duty, hell, even if it's Fortnite. But that kind of brings up the point about what Microsoft is really trying to focus on, and this is another mistake that they're making. Their emphasis on Gamepass is shifting towards cloud even more so than it has been in the past, because that's something that they mentioned for all of their tiers. Is that correct? And so when we're getting especially into the next generation, the three most important pillars of what gaming is about as far as the quality is going to be performance, which is the frames per second, the image quality, and the latency. Those three things are things that Digital Foundry needs to start putting in their reviews. You know why I say that? Because now they're trying to circumvent all of these different avenues with things like frame generation for performance, with things like AI upscaling for image quality. And now with cloud, you're destroying your latency. So there's a lot of give and take here. And then what PlayStation is doing correctly is they're finding that balance. PC, they'll just overstrength. You're spending a lot of money. You'll get the resolution. You'll get the performance. You'll get the latency. But what Microsoft is actually focusing on, even though they're trying to focus on a PC audience now, is cloud. Nobody takes cloud seriously because it's destroying one of those main pillars that I just mentioned. So nobody's going to actually give a damn about cloud. And I don't care if you have 5 gigabits per second download and upload speed, the latency is not going to get less than 100 milliseconds. You know what I'm saying? And if you really want to actually have a game that feels good when you play it, it should have more, about 60 frames per second. And then it'll naturally have lower latency. You play a game, like say for instance, if you play Ghost of Yotei at 30 frames per second, your latency probably is a little bit over 100 milliseconds. But that's why people like playing at the 60 frames, because it gets below it gets to like 60, 70, 80 milliseconds. Then the game feels a lot more responsive, right? So I think a lot of this AI stuff is trying to circumvent a lot of those main pillars, which is of course degrading some of the quality in these games. And that's one of the reasons why Unreal Engine is running into so many problems, because they're using these things as a crutch rather than something to actually push the technology forward. PlayStation has always been the kind of company that innovates in a way that tries to uphold the quality while pushing things beyond the limit. And that's why I say PlayStation is still the best place to play, and you can't tell me shit else. You can't tell me anything else other than that. And so, I mean, I'm looking at what's happening. I really feel for the Xbox crowd because they're taking these L's left and right. But don't be trying to come at us, and don't be trying to tell us that we can't say anything about it, because y'all been saying everything about us. So of course we're gonna make sure that y'all hear exactly what's on our mind, because we don't want Sony to make the same mistakes that Xbox is making. We don't need them trying to up the price. Yeah,
that's the big thing.
And that's part of the conversation, right? We want to have our voices heard so that Sony knows straight up, like, don't do this, bro. You see the bad press Microsoft is getting right now. Now's not the time for you to raise the price on anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got to say.
But I'm going to say this. No, go ahead, Chill.
Yeah, just to add to what you're saying, I don't think they will either. The first price hike that they did earlier this year was followed by a Sony sale on PlayStation. Yeah. I think Black Friday is coming up. They're gonna do some type of bundle just to follow it up with another bundle next year.
That was fire.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So let's touch on that, and I'm like in line with what Extreme said. PSN's eventually gonna go up. Listen, subscription plans goes up. That's inevitable, especially when they stall. That's when they're really gonna go up, and that's the problem. That's the biggest problem with Game Pass. It's stalled at 35 million. So you got to look at the formula: subscriber count times subscription price equals profit. Right? The subscriber count doesn't change. It's been stuck at 35 million for a while. The sum, the product of that equation, which is profit. How do you make that answer go up? Well, the only part of the equation that's changeable is the price. If the subscribers doesn't go up, then you got to adjust the price and make that go up. You understand what I'm saying? So if they're stuck at 35 million, right? If the subscription would have been rapidly gaining subscribers, they probably wouldn't have to raise the price, because the amount of people getting on the subscription is raising up, the profits, the profit margin, right? 45 million,
Absolutely.
55 million, 65 million, 75, 80, 110, 115, 200 million. Okay. But the problem is that number's been stuck for a while. And
I was going to say, too, just real quick, just to add to what you're saying real quick. So when it scales up in numbers, does that scale up their production cost, or the what do you call cost of
it's
running
just,
the whole system?
No. So
See,
the thing
that's
is,
where,
the system is designed for a massive amount of people. Because if they didn't plan, even though you could be hopeful, your expectation is to get into the 100 millions or 200 million. So you have your servers for that. That's what you're hoping for. But when that doesn't happen, or when you hit this point where you reach your peak, then the next step is incremental, pricing. That's why Disney Plus, for example, they keep raising the price, but they have 200 million subscribers, but they're stuck at 200 million. They're not reaching 300 million, 400 million. So when you're in this, okay, this is the nominal zone that we're at, your choice is, how do we change the pricing to increase that, right? That's where Amazon did it. Amazon's like, listen, we're stuck at Amazon Prime with the same number, so now this is what we'll do. We'll change the tier everybody has to ad tier, and then we'll create a new tier where you don't have ads. So the stuff that we had already, which was ad-free entertainment, now we got ads. If we want to go back to not having ads, you got to pay $3 a month. Why they did that? Because they're not gaining more subscribers. They're stuck in this perpetual formula where the subscriber count doesn't really change. So you got to change the pricing, right? So that's one huge impact on this. So that's one. Number two, everybody's trying to do comparison with PSN Plus and Game Pass, which to a certain point I get it, but there's one difference. PSN Plus is not the reason to buy a PlayStation. PS Plus is not the platform. Right. That's not I don't need PS Plus. That's why you don't. And M made a point that a lot of people know about Extra and Premium is because that's not the platform. It really isn't.
Right.
You know, to me,
it isn't.
Premium
And
and
I'll
Plus
subscribe for
is like
the
it's like
free
the
games.
DualSense. Yeah, it's like the DualSense Edge. Some people don't have the DualSense Edge. It's whatever. It's something that's available. It can expand and make your experience better on the platform, but it isn't the platform itself. It's not the end all be all. Game Pass became the end all be all. It became such the end all be all that Microsoft made decisions that literally destroyed the console. Microsoft easily said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put games on PlayStation. Fuck what you feel." Oh, and we're gonna make PS5 Pro Enhanced, so the better version's on PlayStation. So what?
Good night. Yeah,
we got Game Pass.
I was gonna say too.
All these decisions
about that Trojan.
Grand opening, grand closing.
But you see what I'm saying? Game Pass was the platform. Game Pass is Xbox. Xbox, if you want to say what's an Xbox, Game Pass. That's that Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Game Pass
Here's
is the
another
Xbox.
Quote.
Period.
I got a quote. This is my quote. This is me saying this. Today's Xbox.
You can't quote yourself. That's not how it works.
Tomorrow's.
That doesn't make sense.
No, I'm saying this is a quote for y'all to mention.
This is what you do. You send a message to Extreme. Have him say your quote. Because it doesn't work that way. Now I'm playing. Though.
No, I'm just gonna say it. So what I'm saying is,
but Extreme sourced himself just now.
Yeah.
Today's Xbox Game Pass price is tomorrow's PC Game Pass price, and that's what we're seeing right now. Because they just went. They were at $10 a month.
Yeah, they went $16.50.
$16.50, not $15, not $15. $16.50. You know
Everything's going.
So that's why I'm telling you it's my quote. So when you tell people that, like you can repeat
today,
that,
Xbox,
but you gotta that was Terrabin
PC.
that said that.
Yeah.
Terrabin dropped that heavy.
Yo, so Game
Xbox.
Game Pass is the platform. That is Xbox. If you want to say what's an Xbox today, the answer is Game Pass. That's it. It ain't first party publisher. No, it's Game Pass. Game Pass is Xbox. That's their primary revenue driver besides game sales. And they made a lot of decisions because at the end of the day, they can always fall back to Game Pass. They're not going to fall back to console. They can't even say they can fall back to PC because Steam is the dominant force in PC. It's always been Game Pass. So this is hurting. This is especially, people expected a $2-3 price hike, but this is a full $10 price hike. Full $10 per month, right? That's a whole different story, and that's what they're going with, right? Of course, I need a backup, so I unleashed my corporate connects. Y'all thought I was bullshitting. GameFly is in console warring now. Shout out to GameFly.
What they do?
Y'all thought, shit. Y'all thought I was playing. GameFly gives no fucks right here.
Yeah.
GameFly.
Oh, no.
GameStop. Shit.
That's
GameStop
what I'm talking about.
Dropping bombs on them. Oh, you said okay.
Yeah, Gamefly said they just waited until you all forgot about Redfall. Then wham.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Yo, Gamefly is killing them. Right here. Hashtag Xbox stands. Taking the bullet.
So when Microsoft, after spending so much effort, like working with the retailers for shelf space and the retailer to provide shelf space, all of a sudden they, kind of retract all that and went digital. This is when you start making enemies with the with retailers, right? So and the Game Pass go directly against GameFly and right and retailers, right?
And
so
then also the
they
reduction
didn't
of
learn
discs.
their lessons.
The reduction of
Sega.
discs. Yeah. Xbox reducing their discs, putting full games on disc. That hurts GameFly. Here's GameFly saying, at least you got Paw Patrol before the hike.
Yeah.
Yo,
man.
Yo.
So
look at this. Look at this advertise. September GameFly Day 1 AAA games. Borderlands 4, Silent Hill F, NBA 2K26, Hockey 26, and Sonic Racing. Game Pass, Paw Patrol, and Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Is Sonic Racing AAA?
I don't know, but that's a good one.
It's reviewing very well, and people are comparing it to Mario Kart World. So
I'm gonna check it out.
Consider that AAA.
Okay. Because I didn't I didn't like the previous Sonic Racing.
I was gonna say, P-Rock, did you see Mighty Keith's skit, bro?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my god, you gotta see that. Shit was funny as hell about the Xbox price hike. That shit was crazy.
So and before I move just to chat, I want to say this. So this is a little bit, I'm gonna say this. I'm taking this price hike a little personal because why they gotta throw my peoples under the bus? Like, who the fuck is this?
What?
Who's this Puerto Rican chick that now she is the face of the price hike.
Oh,
Why they
man.
did my
Man,
homegirls?
yeah, dog. They
She
did
is
her
look.
dirty,
She
bro.
is Puerto Rican.
man.
She is Puerto Rican. Why are they throwing my people?
They did her.
Why they did her dirty? This is the one
They
that
did her
announced the
dirty,
price hike.
bro.
Who is this? Why is it not Sarah
No.
Bond?
There's a minority out
There's
there.
no Sarah Bond, no
No.
Why is
fucking
not Sarah
Matt
Bond?
Booty,
Who is
no
this?
Phil Spencer.
No, it's
Y'all did her
okay.
dirty.
She didn't announce the price hike. She announced the upgrades to Game Pass.
True.
Remember?
True.
She didn't say anything about it, but that's why people are mad at her because she's
But
the face
that's
of
the
Yo,
video.
I'm
that's
saying-
the
of the
face.
slide.
That's the face.
Listen.
Look at the dislikes.
In a world where we're getting deported, this is what we do, Microsoft. You just adding to the fire. You making my peoples look bad. You know what I'm
She's
saying?
so fucking beautiful too.
This is
I'm
wrong.
telling you, she's
This
so
is wrong.
gorgeous. Jesus.
They did her dirty.
It don't
bro.
matter. It's her fault. Everything that's wrong with Xbox is her
Listen to
fault
your
now.
feedback, and now
Yep.
you have
Damn.
even
Listen,
more.
Sarah
She was-
and Phil did.
she was
Sarah
the
and
patsy.
Phil didn't want to go out there, so they sent her out there
What we doing?
to get sacrificed.
Sacrificed her.
Can I just say what we're all thinking? Why couldn't she
Homegirl's
have
gonna
been
get
a white
deported.
girl? Huh? Why couldn't it have been a white girl?
Nah, they
no,
put
no,
my
no,
the way
people.
she is,
A
she's
beautiful,
perfect.
you know.
She's perfect.
That's wrong.
I'm
Look
telling
what they
you,
did to
man.
my peoples. Look what they did to my people. So, yo, I gotta say something about that. That's just wrong. They put my peoples out there.
She's
Now
perfect.
they want to put us in front of the camera. Now they give us
I'm telling
opportunities.
you,
Nah,
man.
that's
I'm
wrong.
telling
That's
you,
messed
man.
up.
That's wrong.
Yo, man,
That's messed
yo, oh man, Ice is gonna end up knocking on her door. Somebody ratted her out. They said she lives there. Got an Xbox fanboy. She lives right over there. Super chat. Domingo says, "I'm really curious what J-Dub has to say about the Tim Dog situation and the rumor that is most likely is about to happen."
Real quick, can you explain what he said before you give your opinion? Because I don't know.
So Tim Dog on Twitter, before his Twitter got shut down, I don't know if he personally put it on a halt because of all the vitriol or whatever, but apparently he's saying something's about to happen, that this is not just it. Something big, but not in the way Xbox gamers are going to like.
I think it's the $80 games.
So
That's
I don't know what it is,
Go
but
ahead.
something big's gonna go down. And then Tim Dog just went on a rant, like Twitter after, like I guess whatever he heard, he didn't like it, so he went on his Twitter rant. And somehow his account is suspended temporarily or whatever. So J Dub, would you care
Yeah.
to break down the news?
I will. Tim, he's very passionate.
Yeah.
He's very passionate about Xbox, and he wants Microsoft to just be honest. And Microsoft is not going to be honest. I mean, we saw it early part of this week. They came out and said, Xbox, Game Pass is profitable, and then all kind of bullshit. The next day they jack up the price 50%, and then now we're finding out, Call of Duty isn't profitable because they're losing $300 million. So, these guys are just they're liars, and they gaslight the fans, and they're not honest with the fans. And I'm not going to use Tim Dog or whatever. I'm going to wait, let him say what he's going to say. You guys can go. I don't know if you can go and see what he says, but something big is going to happen, and it's going to be regarding Xbox. And of course, the diehard Xbox fans are not going to like it because they've invested a lot of time, money, and online clout holding the line, and all of that was for naught. So again, this is J Dub, right? This is me. This had nothing to do with Tim Dog. I'm not putting words in his mouth. But my opinion, based on everything I'm seeing, if you spend $100 billion, right, and you still can't be where you need to be, if you've did everything, if you've given your games away, if you've cut the prices down to $100-some for your consoles during holiday season, and people still don't buy it, that only leads me to one thing, and that's they're gonna get out of gaming in some capacity. I'm not saying wholeheartedly, but at least for the parts that don't make money. So what doesn't make money for Xbox, right? For Microsoft, clearly the hardware. So I'm gonna assume, right, they're gonna get rid of the hardware or probably sell that division off to somebody else. Maybe somebody that they've been partnering with for a little while. Maybe somebody that they're familiar with. And, maybe a lot of more studios get closed down. They're probably going to keep Call of Duty around. Don't know. It's just, it's a hard pill to swallow. But Amy Hood, they need their money back. Satya, he needs his money back. Satya is not a gamer. He's not. He doesn't give a shit about gaming. He shows up just to kind of reassure investors. Yeah, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, and everything is good. But clearly the numbers don't look right. Clearly they're losing money, which is crazy because COD is well, at least it was the biggest game in the world. Now it looks like this year Battlefield is going to clean its clock, and that's directly right after Microsoft bought it. So you can't blame what's the guy who ran it before? Who ran ABK before?
P. Hines.
Pete Hines, or even the other guy.
Mike Ibarra?
But no, the guy who ran
No.
who Activision
Maker?
Blizzard.
Yeah, wasn't
No,
it P.
no, no,
Hines?
no.
Oh,
No,
Bobby
the guy,
Kotick.
Bobby Kotick.
Bobby
Bobby
Kotick.
Kotick. Yeah, okay, yeah, right.
Bobby Kotick. Yeah. So you can't blame him. He's gone. So it's just I'm seeing a lot of people want to start blaming Satya and everything. It's like you blame Donny D, right? Even though Donny D left 4 months after the Xbox One launch. So you're gonna blame that on Donny D, even though Phil had 7 years to correct the shit, right? So they didn't blame that on Phil. Then this generation with Xbox Series, right, launched with no games, just the Falconeer and the Medium. Halo got delayed. Then we got Craig. Then we got one complete year with literally no games, and then the following year we got Redfall, at $70 for a dud, and then the raising of the prices, and then just the uncertainty, then to bring in the games to PlayStation. It's just they don't know what they're doing, and they're trying to find a way to fix it. And I think they're just running out of options. I don't think they'll ever be able to hit 50 million Game Pass subscribers, 100 million Game Pass subscribers, as they detail, and we know that these were their goals because of the ABK court deal, but through the leaks and stuff like that. ABK killed Xbox. The ABK deal, spending $70 billion, you got to pay that. You got to pay the piper back. That killed Xbox. There was no way in the world they were going to be able to make that kind of money back. Game Pass isn't sustainable. It was never sustainable. The moment they stopped giving you the actual numbers, and those numbers that they gave you, those are not concurrent numbers. Those are how many people that have ever signed up. Microsoft would never give you concurrent. You know why? Because I may sign up for Game Pass this month, and then I may cancel my subscription the next month and never subscribe back to it for another year. And most gamers are like that. So they can't give you consistent numbers. So at this point, it looking like the hardware is going to go away. They'll probably keep Game Pass around for a little while. They have to find some kind of way, and I don't see any way around it. PC is not moving. The PC is not going to bring in enough money to do what they need to do. Putting games on PlayStation, that'll help. But I mean, shit, we got to overcome from the lack of install base that the Xbox guys have, right? They don't buy games clearly to sustain that. They're losing money off of Game Pass. So unless PlayStation just really ramps up and buy over abundantly, which meaning we would have, as PlayStation gamers, we would have to buy the equivalent of Sony first party numbers, right? The 3 and 4 million in a day or two, the 15, 20 million sellers, we would have to buy that for Xbox first party in order for it to be sustainable. That's not going to happen. It is what it is. Call of Duty, we already, even before they bought them, majority of Call of Duty players were on PlayStation, right? Unanimously. So now that they bought them, that hadn't changed. Majority of COD players are still on PlayStation, and they're still losing $300 million. So that 30 million, 25 to 30 million Xbox console install base, they're just not enough. There's just not enough money coming in from them. It's not growing. Nobody's buying the hardware. Let's face it, nobody. They don't even store shelves don't even carry them anymore. More and more retailers are dropping it. It's non-existent. Why would they? Why would they keep making more hardware? They're not. Let's just face it, right? We weren't born yesterday. We predicted this shit years ago. Right? We get on this podcast every week telling people what we see based on the data, based on the numbers, based on NPD, based on the financials and all kind of stuff, right? We analyze this stuff. And you can't lose, negative 25% quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter third place in NPD month after month for this whole generation. You can't do that. It's just not sustainable. So honestly, I think they're gonna give up the ghost on this game and shit. The Xbox brand and the name is just such a stigma. There's no way to salvage it, and I said that like 3 or 4 years ago. There's just no way. It's just too much stench and negativity around it. Maybe if they change the name of it, that history that people love to bring about Xbox, that the glory days of the 360, those days are over. We've moved on. We're past that. So the name Xbox doesn't ring a bell in most people's minds anymore. Just the diehards, that's it. But they don't even exist anymore because the bulk of them went to PC or PlayStation. Kids don't mess with Xbox like that Xbox like that anymore. So where does that leave Xbox? Why continue and why keep wasting money?
I was gonna say, just please don't sell everything to Saudi Arabia because
Yeah.
they don't know how to maintain anything. They're so rich out there; they'll literally drive a Ferrari until it needs an oil change, and then they won't even go and get an oil change. They'll just leave it on the side of the road and go buy another Ferrari. Like,
Yeah.
that's how they'll treat. That's how they'll treat all the studios if they end up buying all of Xbox's studios.
I hear you, and I hear that, especially when people talk about Tencent and stuff like that. But I wouldn't be as opposed to that because you got the world's richest company can't. If an American company like Microsoft with all the resources it got can't do anything with those studios, can't do anything with the gaming. Why would I mean, who cares if Saudi Arabia get into? I mean, they can't do any worse.
Well, I was gonna say it's really all about talent, right? You have to go with who has the hot hand. Like, the guy that's the director of Battlefield 6 was actually the one who pioneered Call of Duty. I don't know if y'all know.
Oh, did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like, as far as I'm
brought
talking
up-
about, like the campaign, like when the campaign used to be Dude Bro, that's who's running Battlefield 6.
Yeah.
So that's why it looks like that. And that's why we're like, oh wait, this guy's got the hot hand. Go where he goes. Cliffy B was a good example of that in the 360 era. Wherever he went, they had the hot hand. He was the dude when Gears of War was in its prime. It was because of Cliffy. You understand? So there's certain cats that are juggernauts in the industry. PlayStation has a monopoly on a lot of those juggernauts. Kazunori Yamauchi with Gran Turismo, Hideo Kojima, obviously, because they have a history with them. And then you can name other producers from your favorite games as well. A lot of them are PlayStation. You know.
All right. Well, let me ask you what percentage of gamers do you think will go from Call of Duty to Battlefield? They'll just dump Call of Duty.
A lot.
It's not.
Outside of the Call of Duty streamers,
it's two totally different games.
Like the Twitch streamers, that the content creators, they'll have to keep on because that's what their channels and stuff is built upon. But everybody else, they don't mind. They'll move over.
I don't know. That's how they became Call of Duty streamers in the first place because of Modern Warfare. Like, you had people like Ninja who dropped Fortnite and dropped the whole streaming platform. I think it's very possible.
I look at it the opposite. I think the guys are Call of Duty streamers is because the audience play Call of Duty. So isn't one? So I think the Call of Duty streamers are influenced because the fans are there, not vice versa. I don't think people play Call of Duty because of streamers. Because remember, Call of Duty was big before streaming. So your Call of Duty streamer is because the audience is there, not the. So you don't have an influence on the audience. If anything, the Call of Duty streamers will stay on Call of Duty no matter what happens because the audience is there. The casuals, it's automatic. The casuals automatically buy Call of Duty. They don't look at reviews. Like what? 5 seconds. Everybody answer this question in 5 seconds. Ready? What did Call of Duty get on IGN?
Oh, dear.
Nobody knows.
What's
the he said 69.
Oh no, I got a 4 or 5.
Nobody knows. No one. When was the last time? When was the last time people asked for Metacritic scores on Call of Duty? No one gives a fuck no more.
Nobody.
No one gives a fuck.
But then again, when I saw the trailer, and I saw that giant coming over the horizon with his hand, I'm like, this is not Call of Duty, bro. What the hell is this psychedelic?
Yeah. Just to add to his point, like.
It's like Madden
blew up during Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3.
Exactly.
And now they're not doing that, but Battlefield is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Call of Duty, the reason why they're not blowing up, because it's been like 2007. Like, what's going to change? It's been like 15 plus years. Like, what more do you want? It's already stagnant. Call of Duty is just perpetual. It's just there. It's like Madden. Like, you're not going to get Madden to blow up. it's just Madden. It's just there.
So
it's
because he
Call
asked
of
me
Duty
about the player
just
base.
same. But Call of Duty, no one's gonna leave Call of Duty for what? It's just
Okay,
there.
yeah. So let me help you out there. So so there is a demographic of people that don't even use any gaming subscriptions, right? They just use the free amount, the free route, which is why they play Fortnite, why they play Warzone, and so Call of Duty's main releases are always enticement for them to continue with that ecosystem with Warzone. Now Battlefield has that. Now Battlefield has a free-to-play battle royale that's probably going to launch right at the beginning of November or something like that. And so you're going to see a lot of streamers flock to this, and a lot of times their audience does like to play the games that their favorite streamer plays. And so a lot of the streamers right now and content creators are actually getting bashed for playing Call of Duty. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get... Shroud's going to play Battlefield. He's probably not going to play Call of Duty that much. Swag, he might play Call of Duty, but people see him and they're like, dude, you're dumb. Why are you playing that game? And then other people like Dr. Disrespect, or people are doing their comparisons, right? They're playing the game. They're going to end up playing Battlefield, and especially when that battle royale comes out, if they execute it well, it could really shake the ground for what's going on, and that could really affect Microsoft. That's why they're literally. I don't know if this was Photoshop, but I saw somebody posted a tweet that Call of Duty said, "Please don't forget about our beta." With like a sad face emoji. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, everybody forgot about your beta.
Yeah, but the thing is
that probably
because I seen the Battlefield versus Call of Duty. No matter how good Battlefield gets, it never beats Call of Duty because it's not Call of Duty. When a Call of Duty gamer plays Battlefield, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, it takes me more than 5 seconds to kill. It's a different game. It's a completely different game. Right? And people love Call of Duty for what it is. That's why it's been the top seller. Like Call of Duty, the only game that outsells Call of Duty generally is what? A Rockstar game.
Grand Theft
You
Auto.
You need to release a Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead to sell more than Call of Duty. The only other game,
and that's like once every 15 years.
Yeah,
right.
Black Myth Wukong is because of China. In the U.S., Black Myth Wukong didn't outsell Call of Duty. Again, the only game that usually outsells the one that actually legitimately did was somehow Hogwarts Legacy. That was like the outlier. But more often than not, is Rockstar. The game is set in a culture that people want to play. That's why the whole, it's people automatically, they're just gonna get Call of Duty. That's an auto buy. It's not even a decision. The audience is there.
But let me say this:
can Battlefield 6? But I'm saying, can Battlefield 6 be popular? Yeah. But don't set the metric of for Battlefield success is how well they do against Call of Duty, because Battlefield's going to lose that metric. You're not going to be Call of Duty.
Fair
in that
enough.
Metric. They're not. For all you Battlefield 6 fans, listen, do yourself a favor. Don't pit it against Call of Duty because you will lose. You will lose.
I don't know,
That's fair
dude.
enough.
You
I
will
think Call
lose.
of Duty
Listen,
lost.
I heard, I don't know. This is not the first time Battlefield went one-on-one with Call of Duty. I hear it every single time, and every single time Battlefield lost. Every single time. Because you got to look at the perspective of the game. The Call of Duty 6 audience, that's what they want to play. And we're not talking about the guys on Twitter that listens to whatchamacallit, to like a stream or whatever. The audience is bigger than that. There's millions of gamers that don't be watching those streamers. They just go, walk in a store or download a digital, buy Call of Duty, and they play that game all year long. Doesn't matter who is out there.
Let me say this.
What is out there.
It's not even about how much Call of Duty sells. It's about how the player base is retained. And Black Ops 6 was one of the worst.
300 million.
Yeah, because Battlefield.
Sure?
No,
Black
they
Ops
lost
6 was
300
one of
million
the
because
worst Call of
Microsoft
Duties.
is stupid. Because they gave it away for free.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
you're
my
gonna
point.
lose money.
That's why I say it's not
You
about
gave the
sales.
pussy away
It's
for
about-
free. You're telling me
It's
Black Ops 6
about-
won't lose
You're right.
money if it's day and date on Game Pass?
You're right. You got me on that one. You're right.
Yeah, it's
No,
not
that's
gonna
absolutely
take
true.
that.
That's why I said it's
yeah.
about player retainment, because they equate player retainment to how much time they play the game to how much they spend on the store, right? So if it falls off a lot quicker, like the way Black Ops 6 did, then it doesn't matter how much sales or how many active players they have playing the game. What matters is how much those players that are still playing are continuously spending. Because they can't
Call
make
of Duty's,
they
Call
can't
of
make
Duty's
Call
still
of,
Call of Duty's still one of the top games played on PlayStation. I'll put my money
now you're
that
not
in the long.
incentivizing
I
people
will say
for it.
this: in the long run, watch Call of Duty still be played more on PlayStation than Black Ops 6 on PlayStation.
Call of Duty.
Black Ops 6, Black
talking
Ops.
about
I mean,
Battlefield
not Black
6?
Ops 6, Black Ops 7, whatever. Battlefield 6, it'll have that initial hype. Watch that shit drop below Call of Duty after like a year, after like
I
8 months.
think-
Watch.
I
I
think-
see
I
it
think
all
Black
the
Ops-
time. Every single time. A Battlefield game came out on PlayStation, it had the hype, and then for whatever reason, oh, sorry, Call of Duty. Call of Duty is
The
just
Battlefield
playing
1 was
more.
very successful.
Over,
though. That was a
over.
really good one.
And even, yeah, it was. And guess Call of Duty was still being played more on PlayStation than Battlefield 1. It just, because you got to look at Call of Duty, whether we like it or not, it's a really quick, you could get into the game and you could get a lot of kills fast. You could feel powerful in Call of Duty, just simply how the game designed. It's a real, quick kill somebody real quick, do all these fucking things. But Battlefield's not like that, man. You got to put in some work. Battlefield, which is by design. You can't get kills as easy as Call of Duty. Call of Duty is really, man. That's why some people get frustrated. Like the guys who like Battlefield, they hate Call of Duty because of how easy you can get kills in Call of Duty. Like you literally just jump in the game, you died. And you're like, what the fuck? Like I just spawned. A lot of gamers don't like that shit, especially like that. That's why a lot of the hardcore Halo gamers don't like Call of Duty. A lot of the hardcore Battlefield gamers don't
I'm
like
a
Call
veteran
of
of both. I'm good at both of them. I've always played both since the Battlefield, Bad Company days, and of course comparing with Modern Warfare and all that. And what I'll say is, Call of Duty does give you that adrenaline rush because you get the kill streaks. In Battlefield, you are the kill streak. You have to fly the chopper. You have to have your friend who's a chopper gunner. I used to play Battlefield with my cousin and my brother with the 3 TVs parallel to each other with 3 PlayStations. And I remember we used to hop in the Huey chopper, right? And I would be the one in the middle as the pilot, and then I would have my cousin as the left gunner on the left TV, and my brother as the right gunner on the right TV. And you could look in our living room, you basically see a panoramic view of everywhere we're flying, and we're dropping people off on different bases. It's a different type of game. It's a lot more.
That's what I'm saying.
It's more social. Call of Duty is great if you just want to jump in there and just
and that's the thing. Everything you mention is work to kill people. Call of Duty, I ain't doing all that shit. I just want to press the up and have a fucking armor chopper give me 20 kills. I ain't trying to do all that. Hey, you're on the flight line. Hey, let's get the crew all together. All right. Now we're gonna fly. We're gonna fly all the way over. Yeah, Call of Duty good. You ain't trying to hear that. They're like, yo, that whole instructions, I would have had 10 kills already. You got a whole speech. I would have been on my first kill streak by now with all this conversation that we're doing. That's just the Call of Duty gamers, man. And that's the itch that Call of Duty scratches. It's simple. You don't need a lot.
Into it with the movement. That's what they did, is they lean into it with the movement. That's why Black Ops 3 with the wall running and the jump in and all that kind of stuff, Advanced Warfare, it just became a crack baby game. Like you had to just be a crack shot. It's not tactical at all. I just upload some footage of Battlefield 6. And I was playing without a HUD, right? And I have to move cover to cover. I'm not like running out in the middle of nowhere. That's how you get shot in Battlefield. You can't do that. When in Call of Duty, you come flying around the corner, bunny hopping,
run, jump,
so
that way they can hit. That way they can hit your legs,
shooting while
and you
in
can
midair.
absorb more shots.
It's cracked
That's
out.
not a
Right.
tactic.
It's cracked out.
Getting shot in the
Blind
nuts is not.
canceling,
Getting shot in the nuts is not tactical. But it is a Call of Duty because it takes longer to die. Yeah, it's like, you know what I'm saying.
But it does take some skill to really excel at that. But what I don't like about Call of Duty is the skill-based matchmaking is terrible in comparison to the Call of Duty in the heyday.
They never address it too.
They never address it. Battlefield's not going to have that. So you could literally be a good player and you'll get plenty of fun.
So you gotta be like, you gotta be like me. You gotta commit. You gotta be like me. Commit to the single player. I say,
but you're not gonna play the single player Call of Duty.
You know what I'm saying? I do. I do play the single player. I do it. I love it. I love that fake, like AAA Hollywood explosion bullshit. I'm a sucker for that. I'm a sucker for Michael Bay movies. Listen, I admit it.
You'll get that in Battlefield 6 this year. Michael
Bay, I'm gonna play the Battlefield 6 single player too, but I'm a sucker for Michael Bay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm that dude. Transformers comes out, I'm in. I want to see robots just tear up the city. I don't care about the plot. I just want to see lots of cars crashing and I love the Michael Bay thing. I'm a sucker for that all the time. Just a lot of explosions.
Can't tell me nothing about,
and then you got that,
you can't tell me nothing about Transformers because
listen, and I love the pivotal slow scene where you have the background music and everything's dramatic and everybody's I love that. I'm a sucker for that. I'm a sucker for that cinematography.
Bad Boys.
Just give me, I love that Bad Boys things where everybody's like in the slow mo, like.
Well, yeah,
The background, I love it.
where he's got like
I'm that guy.
He's got the Matrix in his hand. He's got to stab it into
got my
Optimus
money.
Prime to
Take my
reawaken
money.
him and shit like that. Yeah.
I'm a Michael Bay
I
sucker.
worked at the
Take my
movie
money.
theater back
Here
in
you
the day
go.
when those movies came out. So I used to get all my friends into the movie for free. But, you know, when Transformers came out, everybody saw that movie at least 4 or 5 times in the theaters.
I did not.
In the theaters.
I did not.
Oh, let me do some super chats for this.
I had standards even back then.
Well,
you know,
I say that
Michael-
because I used to get my friends in free. I used to work at the theater at the time.
Michael
those all
Bay
came out.
is gonna do the next 5 Transformers. So FYI.
Is it?
Day one.
Yeah.
Day one.
He's doing
Day
that.
one. Day
Day
one.
one. Day one. 10.
I already bought the tickets.
10.
I already bought 10. I already bought the tickets. I want lots of
Ordered the popcorn
explosions.
already.
I want to hear Prime say, you know, every sentient has a right to liberty or whatever. I gotta hear that. I gotta hear the speeches. I gotta see the explosions. One of the Autobots gotta die. I gotta see one of the
Bumblebee gotta
Autobots
use some
die.
clever music.
I gotta have that sad
Bumblebee's gonna
moment.
come back with the radio. Is that it?
The sexy girl.
please.
Somebody's gotta be
Yeah,
a sexy.
sexy girl.
I got it. I love the Michael Bay formula. 10-10.
Yeah, and
I'm
then you
in
gotta
it.
have Starscream. Just make Starscream less of a bitch, please, please.
You know, I gotta have
Because
it.
he was
you
an
know.
F-22. You can't make an F-22 a bitch.
Or
That's
don't make
crazy.
them all silver. I can't tell the difference. Don't make them all silver.
There's that.
Yeah.
I could never tell the difference between any of them. I'm like, I don't even
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, don't make them all silver.
Yeah.
Lockdown was kind of cool though, and some of the later. But I think my favorite was Shockwave. Shockwave was the illest. And the third one.
Sorry, Bumblebee was the only good Transformers movie.
What?
And even that was
I
like
can go with
Herbie. Even that was the Herbie the Love Bug with Bumblebee.
Better than Dark Side of the Moon? Are you kidding me? Come
No,
on.
Jesus, everything's. Yeah, Michael Bay, like, like.
That's why I say I'm a sucker for the explosions too, and that's why Call of Duty was definitely the shit for a while. But it's like, I don't know, maybe the Modern Warfare.
I mean, Michael Bay
series,
does bank on that.
I'm not a big fan of the
Yeah.
Black Ops series. It's just it's too out there for me. One minute
Next
you're shooting
year
at
it's going to
like,
be the
monsters
World
and
War
aliens.
series.
I'll give it. I'll see what it looks like, but you know. At this point, I don't even like supporting Microsoft Studios because if I want a single player game, I want the physical copy, and they give me a CD key.
Man,
Fuck
for
you!
real.
I'm not buying your game. Fuck you! I'm not buying Black Ops 7 because they
I
did that with Black Ops 6, and I bought it, and I didn't even know that, and so I'm like, nah. But and here's what I told VG. I was like, listen, man, when Gears of War Reloaded came out, they had a real physical copy for the PS5. I said,
Only
good
on
boy,
PS5.
Microsoft. Good boy. I petted Microsoft. I paid my $40. I got my physical copy of Gears of War. And me and my homeboy, we've been playing the campaign on that every now and then when we get the chance. Because when you're an adult, fucking stars have to align just for 2 adults to be able to play a game at the same time. But, you know.
Facts.
All right, hey, hold on. Let me do some of these
guy.
super chats. I gotta catch up
thing.
on the super chats.
Nice.
Glitch says only Xbox could lose 300 million on Call of Duty. Only I'm telling you, only they can find a way. Something so easy,
Right.
like just leave it alone. Just Call of Duty takes care of itself. Just do, yo, this company.
Well, Microsoft needs it
$1 billion
too.
God.
a year?
God,
Isn't
man.
that like what they used to make? Like $1 billion a year with
Okay,
Call of Duty?
I mean, they probably still made $1 billion, but it's probably like 300 million less of because of Game Pass.
Oh, yeah,
I'm telling
right,
you,
right.
man. You know,
And then they spent $3 billion.
it's just hilarious.
They make $1
Glassdoor
billion and
Gamer,
spend 5.
I know, right? Glassdoor Gamer, PC wattage is much higher than consoles. Average high-end PC can cost you well over the price of PSN. PlayStation wattage is approximately $30 in US. Oh, we talking wattage now.
He's spitting facts right there. That boy knows his stuff.
Glassdoor
That's just your
Gamer.
energy usage alone.
Give Bungie Halo back if Microsoft goes away. Oh, you mean sell
shit.
Halo to PlayStation? Not really Bungie. They would give it to PlayStation. You think PlayStation's gonna give that shit to Bungie? If anything, is Bungie still Bungie? When's the absorption happening? Like, when is that happening?
Crazy if PlayStation
That
still
already
got their
happened.
hands on Halo. That's insane.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the single player is gonna be
That's
awesome.
just wrong. That's just wrong.
You know,
The
I
single
think
player
like
will be
acquiring. Yeah, but I think acquiring Bungie, if gets the PlayStation Studio to access like these resources of how Bungie does their shooting mechanics, I think that's a good win because Bungie's gunplay mechanics is like extremely addictive.
That's
it's
one
like
thing.
Every different gun has personalities, right? So
they got that. They got that unlocked. Bungie knows gunplay. You got to give them that. They know gunplay. They got that unlocked, which is a huge important part. But stop doing things in purple. Just stop.
Purple and teal, right?
Yeah, purple,
Yeah,
teal,
baby
yeah.
blue.
Neon green.
We stop. We need gritty. We need the old gray and brown back.
Man,
That people
Halo was so
hate.
epic.
We need.
You know,
It was.
and
The first
I think
one,
that
yes. The first
PlayStation's
three
done
Halos.
What happened? Someone cut off.
No, I was
Oh,
saying the
what
first,
happened?
the best, like PlayStation has actually retained their best developers very well. That's why you got to give props to Insomniac because
Dog and
they
Santa
got a lot of
Monica.
the same. Yes, Naughty Dog, Santa Monica. Another thing too, you notice Polyphony Digital, right? Guerrilla Games, and those are all proprietary engines. They're not using the same engines.
Even Sucker
They have a
Punch, dude. They
closely
kept
knit
a lot of
team
their
and
talent.
exactly, and the thing is, they not only do they need to do that, but they've been enticed to do that, and their games have come out really good, really optimized for PlayStation. So you got to give props to where it's due, especially in an era where Unreal Engine 5 and developer turnaround is worse than ever. So
Yeah, I remember reading Microsoft like hiring contractors for a maximum of 18 months because
Ah,
they don't want to
that was
pay.
the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't want
That's
to
a
pay for
company
their
policy.
insurance and stuff.
That's a
Right,
company
right, right.
policy
That's
across, and
like-
that's one of the another thing that Satya, don't understand, or pretty much anybody.
You can't make a game for that duration.
Can't.
Yeah.
People don't understand that. I understand maybe for software development, right? Productivity software, stacks and things like that, servers, maybe that works in that environment. But in a gaming environment where it takes about 5 to 6 years to make a game, you just switch the teams 3 times in that development. Because you got the team that does the first 18 months of development, then they got to leave. Then you got the second team that does the next 18 months, right? So you had 36 months, so you had the 3-year mark. Now they got to leave, and now you got a new team to finish it off. But each team has to be introduced to the project. You see what I'm saying? That
They have
doesn't
to
work for
first of
gaming.
all look for where the codes are, like how they're programmed and written, right? So they have to get familiarized, right?
And thanks for my, me taking the PMP certifications. You need collaboration. They need to be on board. So when you started the project, you got to look at the scope and be like, hey, this is the project. You got a whole new team that don't understand the vision from the get-go, and they may not even agree, So the third iteration of the team that comes in, they be like, why the fuck we doing this? This is so stupid. I mean, granted, I need the paycheck, but whoever did this is really dumb. None of this makes sense. So you're like, so you have to go through those challenges. Those 18-month iterations don't play. I can understand contracting guys, but they got to stay contracted for 5 years. And yes, pay them healthcare. Like, what is wrong with you? You're a $3 trillion company. So what if a guy has diabetes? Help him out, at least for 5 years, and then kick him out. But, so that was a bad thing.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Their son, their $1 trillion company, their son, the Xbox division, is not making any money. That's why they're like, oh, no, we're not giving you any more.
They're like,
I
screw
never
your
thought
health.
of it like that, Henry.
Like, screw your health. They're like, screw your health. Die. We're
getting
not
cut
making
from the
profit. We're not making profit. So die. Hey, I got an answer. Move production to Australia. They got healthcare. So there you go.
You also got Magpies.
Just
That could
start
be a
making
problem.
games out of Australia if that's what it takes. Move your facilities to Australia. You'll be like, hey, you're sick. Just go to the hospital. There you go. So Australia could save. Granted, you might get sexually assaulted by a magpie. But hey, life's not perfect. You got to trade off.
It is fair. It is fair. You gotta have trades.
And don't hike on the trails. just stay in the cities. On Glassdoor, it said Glassdoor Gamer. Fortnite took a bite out of Call of Duty. I mean, there's probably some people, but Fortnite's just not Call of Duty. It's just every brand has their niche, and they have their huge audience. And that's why I said these live service, trying to make a new live service game is challenging because you're competing with old live service games that's been around for over a decade. That's the challenge, What's up, Henry?
And, and the two titles we're talking about, Call of Duty and Fortnite, there's no reason to play on Game Pass. Just buy the damn game because you're only playing that game. Right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to use Game Pass for it. Just buy the game.
Yeah,
Right? So
buy the game. Yeah,
I just want to make that note.
and get the lowest tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's true, right? Those are the two biggest games: Call of Duty, Fortnite. Call of Duty,
Yeah.
Fortnite. Call of Duty, Fortnite. Call of Duty, Fortnite. That's those are just perpetual games and stuff. And that's the challenge of live service game, which is why I hate the live service strategy as a huge component. Because like, bro, like Wolverine, right? Wolverine's coming out right next year. Wolverine's not competing with anybody. There is no other comic game that Wolverine's really gonna compete, and people are fiending for that, right? That's why I'm a huge advocate for more comic book games, because if you notice, the Wolverine fans, you see it on the internet, right? A lot of people are excited for Wolverine, obviously, but you see the fan base, they are so excited for that game, and they're gonna go out there, they're gonna buy it, because now they get their character in a nice storytelling environment. A lot of the major characters in comics have that same fan base. So when they see now the Wolverine fan base, when they saw the Spider-Man fan base, when they saw the Batman fan base, finally get their AAA shining moment, the Green Lantern fan base is like, when is it our turn? You know, the Aquaman fan base, when do we get that feeling? You know, every fan base has a huge community of gamers that want that same feeling for their character. And I don't understand why, like, for especially Warner Brothers, they don't understand that. They don't understand, like, wait a minute. You got your comic book fan base that watches your animations. They watch your movies. A lot of those also are gamers. They want their moment in gaming. Give it to them. Stop with this live service bullshit. You know what the fan base wants. Or I don't think they do know. But like how they don't know is because they don't have people like us. I'm like, listen, you have Aquaman fan base. You can tell from your animation. That's why you do Aquaman animation, right? You have the movies. You have the comics. That fan base wants their own game. Give them the game. Give them, it's easy money. They're going to give it to you. Just give them their triple A.
What's happening to the Wonder Woman game?
They canceled
They got
it.
canceled.
The one, oh, fucking.
Like, yo, you can't make this shit up,
right.
bro. You're like, you can't make this shit up. They like.
Are we
this
really
is-
not
this is-
getting anything beyond
So,
Wolverine as far as
No,
AAA
I think
goes?
there's also Marvel 1943 from EA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's Blade
Oh.
coming. There's Blade.
No, I haven't heard
nothing
anything
from
from
it.
Blade. I haven't
Well,
heard anything.
Blade's
from
show
Blade for a
got
while.
delayed.
I know we
right?
haven't heard it, but this
The
yes,
movie
it's
got
supposed to be
delayed.
coming.
I know the movie got
Okay,
delayed.
so maybe that's what it's doing there because they're
Maybe.
retooling the script and therefore they gotta redo the
don't-
universe. Yeah.
Maybe, I
Maybe
don't know.
marathon next year.
Yeah. Marathon?
I don't know.
That's not it. Yeah.
It could be. I mean, they're reworking.
I'm gonna play
they robbed-
Marvel Cosmic Invasion, but that's something
yeah.
else.
You know, so it's just insane that they don't see that there's already a fan base willing to buy a game. Like the game's already sold. You just have to make it. It's like one of those, you know, you're gonna sell it. You just have to make what that audience wants. You know, and
Like
Warner Brothers can't say.
Hogwarts. That's a perfect
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. And exactly. And Warner Bros. Cannot say they don't have the formula because they did it. They did it with Batman Arkham, with Rocksteady. So they know how to make a big top-selling single player. They did it with Hogwarts. So they know.
They're even talking about doing it with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so they know. They know the formula. Just keep repeating it. And you can do that almost perpetually. Repeat that formula with Aquaman. You're going to get the Aquaman fan base. Repeat the formula with Wonder Woman. Don't try to do nothing funny, because I think the main problem was they tried to use the Nemesis system that Shadow of Mordor did, and it just didn't work out well. Like, stop. Just give a good single-player story like Arkham Asylum, but starring Wonder Woman, starring Green Lantern, starring The Flash, starring Superman. Like, you got a list of major characters, just go down the list and keep milking it.
Superman.
Keep
Like,
milking it. Just keep
we
going
haven't
down
had
the
a
list.
Superman game in fucking God knows how long.
Just keep wrapping it up.
A hard game. So he's a hard character to make games for.
That's he's all right. You know that game.
Superman.
Superman's probably the hardest.
Superman's
out of
a
all
hard
of them.
character.
Superman.
But, you know,
So I
that's why
got
somebody
an
made him
idea.
fly through
I got an
rings.
idea. I got an idea. So if it was up to
All right,
me,
let's hear it.
if I was king for a day, or a developer, or lead creative developer, and they tell me, hey, Puerto Rock, we got to do Superman, but we understand he is a hard character. How can we get Superman back in line? I'm like, okay,
Make him fly
Time
through
you gotta do
rings.
I got an idea.
Fly the ring.
I'd be like, have you guys ever heard of a show called Smallville? So what if we make a game where it's Superman, but as he grows up and he doesn't have all his powers and he doesn't understand all his powers, and we slowly have to build the momentum of Superman. So
Man, that's a great idea, dude.
So it's kind of like an RPG-ish single player game, and little by little you gain your levels. You're not this super powerful beast that's like, ha, I am God. No, you're just a dorky kid in Smallville, and at the same time, you can't go too much overboard because you have to hide your identity. You're a kid. So you can't just go do crazy shit in front of everybody like Superman does because you don't have a suit. You don't have anything, but you still got to accomplish these missions and save people and learn these abilities over time. So that way you can one day become Superman. You see?
Okay. That's better.
I like that.
Listen. You got problems, I got answers. You know,
There's
stop putting
levels
Puerto
to this.
Ricans. Stop putting Puerto Ricans on stage to say Game Pass price increases. We got you. I can help you. I got answers. You say? You see what I'm saying? That's perfect.
Meanwhile, Miles Morales is making Puerto Ricans great in video games.
I know. We need another Miles Morales game to bring our name back.
Yeah, but he's making white people insecure, though.
Hey. Hey,
I'm just saying.
Hey, we gotta win. We gotta win, though.
No.
We got one win. Good. We got one win. Hey, Bad Bunny halftime show
Bunny.
Super Bowl. I don't care. Listen,
they say he's not American. That's crazy.
Listen, I know that's the crazy part. They say he's not American. Listen, y'all got a couple of months to learn Spanish, and trust me, if there's any better reason to learn Spanish, is to learn a Bad Bunny song. so TikTok, start getting on Rosetta Stone.
Yeah,
I don't know. Is it? start getting Rosetta Stone.
It better become a thing.
It better come back. You know, so get your Rosetta Stone subscription and get ready because the Super Bowl halftime show's coming. All right. One last thing, and just we were talking about this, Chill Will, and all of us when Costco, said now we're done. And remember we talked about Sam's Club and Walmart. Well, now, apparently, Sam's Club, they're doing a clearance sale. They're getting rid of their Xboxes. So they're selling the Series X for $279 and the Series S anywhere between $179 and $239. So,
the Series X is $279.
$279.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Listen, it's clearance.
I don't think that's a good deal.
It's still Xbox.
Off its original price. Yeah,
it's still Xbox, right?
So
things must go.
No, that's like $300 off. That's like $300 off.
Yeah, but
you said $270 for an X.
$20 off its original price.
For the Series X, it's anywhere. For the Series X is $279.
Okay. So for that Series X, it's a good deal. But at my Sam's Club, they only had the all digital version. It's like fuck off.
Okay, but you see, but what they're doing is, so if you really want an Xbox, now's the time to buy the Sam's Club. I don't know why you would want I don't know why you would want an Xbox, but I'm not. Listen, we listen, but we don't judge.
Yep. But bro,
we don't judge.
The Game Pass upgrades, though, I gotta get it, man.
Listen,
$30 a month. That's a steal.
We listen, but we don't judge. All right. I'm just putting it out there. If you really want an Xbox, check out your Sam's Club if you're in America. I don't know about the rest of the world, but if you're in America, you can't beat that. $279, like, bro, now's the time.
I'll play it on the Pro.
You
can beat that because everything's coming to PlayStation anyway.
We listen, but we don't judge on this podcast. We just listen. We don't judge. I did my part. Clearance sale, get it while it's hot. Forever hold your peace. Gamer Boy.
Like J-Dub said, it's a collector's edition.
It's just
it's gonna be the last Xbox.
I might buy it just to hold it and keep it in the box.
I buy one just to break it.
Because I got the OG Xbox. I should get the last Xbox and just be like, how it started, how it ended.
Do you remember back when the PS3 and Xbox came out? There were viral videos of people smashing them.
How it ended.
I smashed the Series S.
I got the first Xbox. I got the last Xbox. Grand opening, grand closing.
Grand close. Right.
I'm gonna do it for the culture. I'm gonna just do it for the culture. Gamer Boy. Oh snap! My screen went crazy. Brave does that a lot. Brave is a great browser, but sometimes it be crashing.
Brave.
Oh, it does that. Brave, it's a browser. You don't know about Brave? Check out Brave.
What are you using? Bing over there too?
No, Brave is the shit.
Nah, Brave is a great browser.
Brave is a good
Is
browser.
it?
You go on
I've never heard of
YouTube.
this.
YouTube get no ads.
What?
No ads.
To be fair, there's many browsers that can do that, but
I don't care. But listen, I'm using Brave. There are many browsers, but this one is mine.
Don't check the history.
It's a Marine reference. So if you know, you know. You know, in the Marine Corps, we have this saying: there are many rifles, but this one is mine.
This one's mine.
This rifle's mine. Meaning, you're gonna fuck it and take care of it. You know what? Don't worry about it. Gamer Boy 83.
Watch Full Metal Jacket.
P Rock. Yeah, there you go. Watch Full Metal Jacket. P Rock and panel. M said Japan has a low bar when it comes to graphics with their recent games. I agree with M. Code Vein 2 has the same look as Vision of Mario graphics wise. I mean, you're not wrong.
Listen, the man knows the truth. Man knows the truth. That shit, it's very disappointing.
You know, Japan overall, they really, ever since the HD era, they took a back seat in pushing the graphical boundaries in games. Some games don't look good artistically. They still have that artistic. I give them that. Very artistic looking games. But like, I remember when like Japan was like the graphic gods. Like literally the generational leap, the Japanese developers were at the forefront of those leaps. You look towards those games and you were like, wow, look how the leap of gaming and design that these guys are doing. And then once the HD era happened, I don't know, maybe Henry, maybe you could talk about it. What happened? Like, what was it about the HD era that
I like how I have to represent Japan too.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
no. It's because you're the artist. You're the artist. We can't draw for shit. We can't draw for shit.
All of Asia.
I do speak some Japanese, by the way.
I got my quota. He can answer this question on behalf of all Asia. No, but as an artist, because you would probably know than me in terms of artistry and design and graphics.
I think
he said I do.
They had a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you're right. He's like, you're right.
They had a lot of trouble converting to the 3D space. I don't think they didn't know how to program 3D games for the longest time. Like Castlevania didn't translate to 3D very well at all, right? And then I think it wasn't until the introduction of the dual analog stick that Japan really spent time to figure out how to program the UIs. And even till these days, I don't feel like the Legend of Zelda handled 3D as well as on the other hand, like I thought Super Mario handled it quite well, but. I think Japan's it simply doesn't have the budget that the United States developers have, because when the investor look at the market, they focus on Japan first. So and then they don't make games dedicated to a specific market, which I think that has changed. I think the Resident Evil is a good example that is totally catered toward the United States. So is Street Fighter. That's why, like, when you see demos, you see the English voices first, right? They're doing the dubbing and the lip sync later, right? So, I also think that the advantage to Japanese developer in a sense is that they kept their team much smaller. So like when you shift over assets and stuff, when you transfer between team members, there's less disconnect. Like you don't give a set of code to somebody and they're like, what the heck is this, right? So I have to figure out where things are, and also because of that, I think the focus might not be the most realistic production when it comes to the graphics, but I'm okay with that. I think in between the multi-million AAA stuff we have with Death Stranding and Ghost of Yote, I'm okay with something like Persona, right? Or something that's smaller, lighthearted, like color that has a brighter color palette. I don't have to be satisfied in the sense of like a AAA graphic exposure constantly. I can enjoy the games that are like Vision of Mana. In fact, I do like that game. So yeah. But also the the games that I look for, look forward to, which we talked about on Tuesday, were the two games that M thought was PlayStation 3 graphics, which is true. I think in many senses it is, but at least it won't stutter. Or hopefully it doesn't stutter. If it does stutter, then that's really messed up, right? So, yeah. So, but HD space. I think from the artistic standpoint, I am not a 3D program person because you're dealing with a additional axes, right? So everything you're building, you can't just look at how it looks vertically and horizontally. You have to turn and make sure they're aligning, in the whole the z axis as well. So that's the difficulty. And for every 3D models you build, you got to worry about what happens when you not fold per se, but when you articulate them. Like if you're folding an arm, right? So in the early days of the PlayStation graphics, like there's when you fold the arm like that, like one part of the polygon will overlap and eat up the other one. So that doesn't happen these days. That's a progression that we have. That's I thought finally, but it also has been like 20 some years or 30 rather. So, but I don't have much to say about that besides the fact that I think Japan does keep a smaller team and they focus on the task at hand, and that's why we get, I think, a much cleaner design and production. But of course, there are stuff that happens, such as Final Fantasy VII's remake, the issue with the resolutions. Yeah, so I can't explain that, but was that built on Unreal Engine?
It was.
But I do think like Japanese developers tend to, even Chinese developers, they tend to, and I want to do that if I were programming. I want to be able to be hands-on with a lot of stuff, rather be a person that delegates, because I think it's important to be hands-on so that you know exactly the problem is when you see it happening, right? So because you know what happens. So, but that's why I'm not in the creative director position, because and like P-Rock, when you manage your own developers, and both M and I I'll help you with the on the art team. How's that?
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna crack that whip.
I was gonna say,
I'm gonna treat that like boot camp.
Just don't have Brother Craig there. A lot of people are going to get called in.
Oh man, there'll be HR violations on the daily.
I was
HR violations.
What he was saying,
human resource
about Japan.
What's up?
Okay.
Yeah,
please.
Japan and their adaptation of 3D really kicked off in the PS1 era, right?
Right.
You had,
with Resident Evil.
Resident Evil is a perfect example. Tekken was kind of like their take on Virtua Fighter, which was another attempt at making 3D. Now I think the backgrounds in Tekken's original,
technically it's still a side scroller.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But the models of the characters started to get more 3D,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that where we saw a breakthrough on that was with Hideo Kojima with Metal Gear Solid on the PS1, and then the PS2 took that to even higher notch because it was more about not just the 3D. It was about making it more like movies because they used the 3D space to then work the cinematography in ways that you couldn't really do in a 2D side scroller type of game. So that brought everything to a whole new level of capabilities as far as the art form of Japanese gaming. And then you even think of like during the PS3 era with Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, how Hideo was given the freedom to basically just make a movie using the real-time graphics of the cell processor, and how he was able to just make, like, with no hold bars, just 10-20 minute cutscenes, right? And then the gameplay itself was fire. It was absolutely fire. So like you look at Japan's upcoming with that, and not only just that, the Western adaptation of Japanese themes, okay, of Japanese basically like just iconic, how do I say, like stories and things like that. And in the way that China is doing right now, like with Black Myth Wukong, like we don't know a lot in the West about China's, mythology or anything like that. But games like Black Myth Wukong introduced that to us, and we see it and we're like, you know what, that's kind of cool. I like that. You know, some of the monsters you got to fight and some of that stuff like that. Sun Wukong. You know, basically. So gaming actually is a certain type of language that allows cultures to express their culture to places where it normally wouldn't because of barriers like language and things like that. Now we can translate the language, but also basically show them their take on things, you know. And that's another thing too that I notice when you're talking about the Chinese market. They're not going to show Chinese structures getting destroyed, but they'll show you British structures getting destroyed in some of their games. Like what's that one game that they're working on? I forget the name of it, but it's a fantasy game that they're making on Unreal Engine. It's based in London. It's like post-apocalyptic. So the Chinese, while they have their limitations to what they're allowed to show in a game because of the Communist Party of China, they're not allowed to show Chinese structures and things like that and cities getting destroyed. They're not allowed to do that in the video games. But what they've done is they've taken that effort into really studying and researching different cultures to bring that in their games, and it shows that they're very studious about what they do. And Japan was like that too when it comes to studying the American culture. And you even see that in some of like Tekken's characters and stuff like that, right? But there's a lot of give and take there, and so people take from each culture when they put in their game, no matter what nationality they come from, and that's something that I think is pretty cool about seeing that development.
Just look at recently how Sucker Punch does their research for Ghost of Yotei and Ghost of Tsushima. They're like
exactly, yeah, that's pretty cool, yeah.
Based in Washington, but they're like ambassadors of the culture now.
Appreciate it. I like
right
the amount of effort they spend, and to have a bunch of Western developers pay so much attention and intricacy toward like a Japanese game.
Right.
I think it's extremely wholesome coming from coming from my perspective. Yeah.
From a developer that's based out of Washington, it's like what, you know?
Shoot, Santa Monica, right? Studying Norse mythology and
going
Greek
to
mythology and all that. That's just absolutely insane. Like, and who knows where they're going to take it next?
They went to the Netherlands, right?
Oh,
to study for the God of War Norse mythology.
Mm-hmm. I believe it. I'm assuming.
I think that's where they went. That's where I saw the documentary. That's what they did.
Yeah, that's why I like.
You guys watch
like
Making Kratos. I don't know if you guys ever caught that documentary.
I've seen some of it. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think they touched base on that where they went to the Netherlands or something to like scope out a lot of the structures for the Norse mythology games.
That would be a tough one if you were to make a movie, God of War. Like, who would actually be the perfect actor for that role?
Triple H.
See, but Kratos was always voiced by black actors, so there's a certain voice that you have to go for.
Yeah.
And
to
technically,
match
Norse
the
mythology Kratos is old, but yeah, I hear what you're saying, Mighty.
Young Kratos, yeah, young Kratos.
Unless you dub his voice
say
like they did with Sweet Tooth.
You talk to X-Vault.
Yeah, have X-Vault Gaming do Kratos.
Or hell, even Laura Croft. You've seen that a few times, right?
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie. I remember when Laura Croft was...
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. That movie was... Yeah.
It wasn't about the plot, okay? It was about her.
Okay.
It was about her being naked.
It's kind of like a Playboy mag. You're not really reading it for the articles.
Yeah.
Right. No, I played. I have the PS2 game Dark Angel with Jessica Alba, and the graphics for the PS2 for her, like they put all of their development. Yeah, and it's kind of solid. Like the cutscenes and everything, they did such a good job. You could tell they were like laser focused on making her look as good as she could with PS2 graphics engines. It was crazy. The gameplay is actually pretty good though. I liked it. But I like the show. I don't know if you ever saw the show Dark Angel.
I saw the show.
In that game.
Yeah. So in the early 90s, James Cameron already obtained the rights to do Battle Angel Alita. And then that's when he did the Dark Angel, he actually used like the look and feel of Battle Angel on that show. Yeah. So.
Okay, interesting.
Okay,
that's the show that introduced me to Jessica Alba.
We need
me doing push-ups in my living room, bro.
We need a remake. We need a remake
of Dark Angel.
Get the remake going.
Who would you cast?
Let's get
same
that.
Jessica
developer,
Alba, she
Sierra.
still looks the same.
Listen,
bro.
we got CGI
She
now.
looks the same.
We get a CGI.
Yeah.
Jessica Alba. We need that remake going.
Nah, she'll take that job, bro. You know what's crazy about that developer, Sierra? They did the Scarface game too on PS2.
You know, I played that.
Who did the
I played the
Punisher
Scarface
game?
game.
I
played
loved
that.
it, dude.
Yeah, that shit was dope.
I have a PS2 that's backwards compatible. That game's
Oh
only
my
like $40
God.
at GameStop.
That's why
Yeah.
PS2 era was so good because there was the freedom to just try shit, dude. Just
Right.
make.
Oh yeah, this is
something, you know what I
definitely just trying shit right here. This is the
Yeah,
epitome.
or like Enter the Matrix. That's trying
had
shit, you know?
no
like,
idea.
Oh, that was a
Yeah.
good. I love that game. Oh my god,
did
you just
too, but I
reminded
had
me
the
of that
buggy one.
shit. Oh my god. Yeah, yeah.
I
yeah.
like
loved it
Neo,
too, but I had the
the
buggy
Neo
one.
one.
Neo, Path of Neo?
Yeah, Path of Neo. That was good for what it
Oh
was.
yeah. The
Fuck yeah.
bullet
No,
time.
I had
oh, that shit was
I
crazy.
missed out. I missed out on this PS2 gem.
Bro.
Nah.
Hell yeah, you
He
did,
said,
dog.
I missed out
Hell
on this
yeah,
gem.
you did.
Like NBA Street was a just make it
gem.
game because you had your typical basketball game, and then you had NBA Street, NFL Street.
I will not have Jessica Alba slander on this podcast. All right, that is
No,
that's
who's-
not-
Who's slandering?
All right.
Who's slandering JA? Ain't nobody gonna be slandering JA.
I need. Is that on PS Plus premium tier? Is that a?
I don't know. I
Is that
I got
is that
the
part of
physical
the?
copy.
Is,
I saw it in
that
the store. I had to.
is
get
that
it.
part of? Is that part of the?
Cannot argue with me about Game Pass. It's
Is
way
that part? Is that part of
there.
the catalog? Is that part of the classic catalog on PS Plus?
And it
premium?
was
How do I
crazy
get my
because
hands on this?
like the
No,
extras
I
were
have
so
to-
good. They had so much behind the scenes stuff
got
and
to
stuff
know.
that tied with the show.
I
It
got
was
to
it was
know.
made with love. You could tell. It was
I got a
crazy.
backwards compatible PS3. I'm gonna look for that shit.
Did you look it up? Did you look it up online?
You know,
Are
I still got my
are you looking
PS3
for it
fat.
online?
I still have that.
So do I.
PS3 fat.
So do I. Yep.
I got a
Time to go
PS2
to-
Slim.
Time to go to
I got
Amazon.
the PS3. The barbecue
real,
pit
huh?
PS3.
I gotta
Matter of
figure
fact,
out-
what is that on eBay?
I gotta figure it out. You're probably gonna buy the last copy.
Yeah.
Watch Will buy the last copy available. I'm like, can I borrow it? All right, fellas, man.
wild.
Hey, we're gonna wrap this up. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna wrap up the show. I want to give a
Right.
quick shout outs, but before everybody starts to leave, please hit the like button. Thank you so much for rocking out. Thank you for the chat, for the super chats, for everybody participating, and then we're just gonna go around the horn with Chill Will.
Yeah, man, hit the like button, everybody. We had a great show. Appreciate Porter Rock for having us, man. I love talking video games, and I can talk video games, best of them. You know what I mean? But yeah, so you can follow my channel at AYEA. It's Chill Will. I'm doing. I like to do playthroughs of survival horror games. I don't know what it is about them. Give me a gun, put me in a creepy atmosphere, and let me survive. Those are just my things. And right now, I'm going through Silent Hill F, and hopefully next.
Are you gonna do Yote?
No, I'm not gonna stream Yote. I just want to keep the channel like consistent with just survival horror. I'm playing Yote on my own though. But I think next I'm gonna probably do Alien Rogue Incursion, probably in VR and in first person, and I'll probably try Dying Light the Beast. And in November I'm probably gonna do that Code Violet game. So appreciate you guys again. Thank you for having me.
Extreme.
Yo, people, look, it's been a wonderful week for those of us who
A wonderful week.
it's been a wonderful week.
What? Well, Ghost of Yote
like a
is out.
redemption week or something.
You meant because of Yotai. That's why. I'm assuming it's because of Ghost of Yotai.
Listen.
That's why it's
There's
wonderful.
Ghost of Yote. We who have been saying Xbox is dead and Game Pass was contributing to that. That was wonderful. We barely touched on the fact that they lost $300 million on Call of Duty last year.
We need
That
something
was
for Tuesday.
wonderful.
We need
You
something
know?
for Tuesday.
Lena Khan.
Something's gonna happen.
Tuesday.
made
Something's
the
gonna
tweet.
happen.
Lena
Lena
Khan,
Khan made
Tuesday.
the tweet, and she was like, "Hey, listen, I told you so." You know, she
she went
didn't
like
say
this.
that, but she did.
She
And
went
people
like
were
this.
like, and people were like, "Oh, please forgive us," but no forgiveness. So it was a wonderful week. It was great. It was a great time to be anything but an Xbox gamer. You know, so just basically, it was a great week. I hope if you're an Xbox gamer, I hope you had as good a week as me. I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
You like it? I love
it. Even
There
though
you
Dark
go.
said that it's a PC at the end of the day. So you know what? You just really love it here. It was such a wonderful week. One of my best gaming weeks ever. I
Saturday's
will remember this
beautiful.
week.
It's a beautiful Saturday for
Just
you,
a
isn't
beautiful
it?
Saturday. Just a beautiful Saturday. A wonderful week all around. It's just I don't know how you can make it better. I don't know. Just like where just a great PlayStation exclusive out there for the people to enjoy. Fantastic news on Xbox. Wonderful news for Game Pass all
Fantastic
around.
news for Xbox. All right.
Listen,
Okay.
they told you that they upgraded the experience on Game Pass, and I believe that beautiful woman. That beautiful woman said something, and I believe her word for word. So,
PlayStation.
what a wonderful week.
PlayStation, hire her.
What a
'cause
wonderful
they did her dirty. They did her dirty.
Did her dirty.
Yo,
They did her
listen,
dirty.
listen. We could use some of that on the PlayStation side. Okay, Herman isn't as good looking as that. Okay, Herman doesn't look that good.
No. Some people say he has a strong jawline.
Bro.
Some people
Exactly,
say
but
he has a strong
I could use
jawline.
Yeah.
All right, Henry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I'm always happy
Absolutely.
to hang out with you guys. As I started, I'm very blessed and privileged to be in the social circle, and enjoy your games, everybody. Hit the like button, and if you're an Xbox gamer, cancel your subscription and just buy the game that you really want to play. Just buy it. Okay, so don't worry about it. Just buy it. Enjoy your game. It's fine.
Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right.
Or join us on the PlayStation side. I think you'll be
just
happy.
come.
It's
Just
fine.
come.
There you go.
Just come. I mean, even the pillow is great. Like we got great things over here. Everything's great. Everything is great.
It's a great
Everything is
week.
great.
It's a great week.
It's a great week. Okay, and then,
So
and then we got.
there's one game I really want to see remake. Beautiful Joe. I would love to play that game.
Really?
Yeah.
Beautiful Joe. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Capcom.
You guys all talk about bullet time, right? You could slow down
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah.
without-
Right.
Yep.
so.
Beautiful Joe.
We got Max
Punching
Payne
the
coming out
logo,
for bullet
baby.
time.
Max Payne. Yeah. Yeah. The remakes, right? They're doing the remakes for it's
One and
Rockstar,
two?
right? It's nice. Okay.
No, it's Remedy, the ones who did
Remedy. Oh, Remedy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Control.
But don't they own? But don't they
Yeah.
own the Max Payne IP?
Rockstar does, but they
Two-
license Remedy to
But
do
they
it.
license Remedy. Nice. Good move.
Yeah,
Good move.
because they did the
They
original.
should. They
one.
should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Because
As they should.
they're too focused. Yeah.
Yeah. All hands is on Grand Theft Auto 6. All right. And we got Terabint, aka Money Tree, aka the Monkey King. Oh, Mighty Tree. I said
Is that what
Money
that
Tree.
is? I
going
keep
on,
thinking
man?
it's a Bigfoot.
It's been an excellent week.
No, it's
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 Wukong?
Wukong. Yeah, but with
yeah.
with
Craig
what's his face? Craig face. He put Craig's
Yeah,
face
yeah,
on it.
okay.
From Halo.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah, because for the longest time it wasn't on Xbox Series S and X, and that's when I made the meme because it was
Put the
funny.
Craig. He
But
put
no, I
Craig's
was saying
face on
though, it's an excellent week, and we got an even better week coming up. Of course, obviously with Battlefield 6, that's going to be dropping. It's going to be garnering a lot of attention. So we'll see how that goes. But big up to everybody on PlayStation that cop goes to Yote. I'm gonna get around to it, but I need to be
Hey,
the first
you gotta
one
play
first.
Last of Us
I know.
first, man.
I see, and that's the problem. This is the curse of being a multiplayer gamer that we have to. I have to get to those in my back catalog. There's also Digimon that just came out. For those of you that like Digimon, that's getting really good reviews too. Some pretty good stuff, man. And then of course, next year we got Grand Theft Auto. We got the PSSR update. I mean, what more could you ask for? PlayStation's just taking dubs left and right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one bit about Yote is I know people focus on like the revenge, that's the vengeance part of Atsu. But if you listen to that music, you could sense the loneliness and the sadness of her heart as she goes through that game. So, think about that. Relate to somebody who lose their family members.
Man,
This guy's gonna make us
it's
cry on a
emotional game.
podcast. This guy's gonna make us cry on a podcast.
You're crying.
Yeah, this guy. We're gonna be like,
one last thing.
I'm gonna be like, welcome, my friends, my family.
My poor you, you two street.
I'm glad you
No, I
guys
was gonna say
are here.
the one request I have for a remake is got
Oh
to
my
be
god! Somebody's trying to
Silent.
screen cap that face, by the way.
I know they did.
On the hill?
Two requests. One of them is a remake. I wish that they would remake Silent Hill for The Room, and I think they eventually will. They announced that they're doing Silent Hill 1. That's what Blue Routene's working on now. But Silent Hill 4 holds a place dear in my heart because that game has such a creepy atmosphere, and that's going to be an excellent one. The other one is I'd love to see Porter Rock's reaction to Mighty Keeve's video about Game Pass. That would be hilarious. because I already know he's gonna be laughing his ass off watching, especially
check
when
that
Mighty
video
Keith
out
gets to
myself.
sweating.
I
When he
haven't
gets, I
seen
posted it in the general for those of you in the Discord. It's in the general.
Okay.
It's like one of the most recent posts. But when he gets to sweating, oh my god, that
Yeah.
I'll be laughing.
He makes some funny
that's all I got.
videos.
Yeah.
Real quick, P-Rock, before you let M go, I'm sorry, Extreme, to kind of like, just an update. Dark Angel is $6 on GameStop.
There it is. That's how much I paid, like $4.99 for it. Yeah,
$6.99, excuse me, for the retro
There you go.
at GameStop. And something I didn't touch on earlier, I think the big thing Tim Dog was hinting at earlier, it's either going to be $80 games or they're dropping that Halo announcement, dude. I think those.
But
are the
he
big
sound
ones.
pissed
That's just my
off though.
prediction.
But he sound pissed off, so it's bad. So it's a bad news.
Okay.
And even he
Remake
like
Dark Angel.
Let's see.
I mean, wouldn't that piss you off for Halo? It's like if God of War.
No. So that's he knows Halo's going to PlayStation, so it's not that. But it's like apparently it's so bad. So this is what he's saying. I'll put it on the screen before his account.
Oh shit! I didn't know you had it.
Oh yeah. So right here, somebody screenshot it. This is Tim Dog. He's like, major fucking scoop, and I'm not saying shit. Do your fucking jobs, journalists. Holy fucking shit. Now I know why they are so fucked up. It's absolutely fucking bonkers. They need to sell immediately. I swear to God, they do, because this isn't getting fixed under Microsoft. So it's bad. It's something bad.
it is.
It's something really, really bad. And now it's like it makes sense on why they're doing whatever. So it's bad. It's bad news. It's really, really bad. I think.
Like I said,
I think the most logical thing they're going to do, and let me ask one last final round, and then some people left, but one last final round. If I think the biggest major news that they can do, that probably is the most realistical news, is they just officially announce that they're done with hardware. That they're going to make it into a positive spin, that they're going to focus more on the software development, and this will allow them to focus more on delivering games to more platforms, but they're shutting down their hardware development teams and you know, all the aspects that help them deliver new hardware, research new hardware. That division's gone. They're shutting that division down. It's over. They're done. They're not dealing with.
Then why would they do their Game Pass changes?
PC.
That's
and
well,
and,
no, he's
and
saying
handhelds.
for the console Game Pass. Yeah, it's just putting. They basically be leaving their console gamers out to dry on current gen and last gen.
Well, no. So the console gamers now will still have the Xbox Series X, but that community is going to have to find a new place in the future, and the options are handhelds like the ROG or any other handhelds, and PCs, laptops, cloud. Those are your options. If Game Pass is your thing, you're gonna have to move over to a cloud strategy, a handheld strategy, or a PC strategy of various forms.
I was gonna say PS5. Their current rates for consoles at this rate is not even going to apply to anything they have quote unquote next gen, whether it's the handheld or their Xbox Magnus prototype that's in the works, because that's probably going to be a PC hybrid also. So is that going to require console Game
probably
Pass?
a Surface.
No, but that's probably
yeah.
but that's why I probably was saying that if there's any big bag news, that would be it. That they officially they officially realize we're just done with hardware. We're not dealing with this.
Yeah, because the writing's on the wall for Halo. Like you put Halo Gears and Flight Simulator. Like you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's the only thing I could think of. That's the
biggest.
I think that will probably piss off Tim Dog, and that's probably why Tim Dog's so pissed off. If it's that, because that would piss him off. He would be like, "Damn, not even nothing. Like nothing. You're just gonna bow out and just be done with hardware no matter what." Yeah, that would piss him off. That would be like, wow.
That should be your next guest, Rock.
The biggest news would be if they make the. So the biggest news would be if they make the Puerto Rican girl CEO. Hashtag Puerto Rican girl for CEO.
Oh,
that'd
shit.
be great.
With that, I'm with that.
Nah, because then everybody's gonna say it's DEI, so we can't do that shit either. so anyway, it's the only friend.
Well, no, it's only DEI when she's not hot.
Yeah, you know what? That's true.
No, it's not DEI.
They'll say she did something strange for a little change to get up there. You know,
the old school.
But who's to say Bond didn't do that?
There you go. Oh man, why? Oh man, you know what? We shut it down. Hey, we're out of here. Nope. Hey, that last comment, get that out. Hey, your only friends is YouTube Streets Porter Rock 77. Thank you so much for rocking out on the Friday night special edition, 60 frames no lag. You guys enjoyed the rest of your weekend, gentlemen. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. You guys take care. Peace.
Peace.